Okay, guys, we are back with another thrilling episode, a return episode of Shackled City. Of the most shackled city that they can be. Man. It's been a minute. And I know that at least Ronald has gone back and has rewatched the previous episode. I have done it as well. I did that last week. We actually did a viewing party here in stream. So, I guess first and foremost, without making this like all too difficult, like how is everybody doing? Are you guys, I don't even know how your character is. Like, how are you as people, as players doing? Are you guys doing okay?
I'm exhausted.
Doing all right.
I'm innie.
Okay, all right.
Well, at least he's not an outie.
Well, I mean, not according to that last Bubfest that we met.
Yeah,
I fear for my life.
Right?
The DM has it out for me. I made a bad joke, and he is going to kill me or my character.
Signs point to yes.
Porque no las dos.
When I both.
Aurora, don't tempt me to get my hat. I do actually have that Breaking Bad hat.
So everybody seems like you're okay. Are you guys okay? Curious. Are you actually happy to be playing again?
Hell to the freaking yeah.
Yeah,
it's nice to go ahead and see chat again. It's nice to see all of these fuckwits faces.
My only qualm with it is that now I have to keep track of the days of the week.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a big bummer.
Damn calendars.
I don't
Daniel
own
Martin.
the calendar.
I had to make Daniel Martin in freaking Skyrim in order to kind of get my fix of adventuring.
Oh
So,
god.
Yeah, I was just like, I gotta do something. I was like, all right, I'm gonna play Skyrim. Made Daniel Martin and just kind of like started screwing around and been doing that.
I actually made Jakob in Final Fantasy. Or at least how
Y'all were
a
fiending.
version. I really was. And, like, that's where I've been getting my RP fix and all that.
Red, can you confirm this? Has he been RPing in Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
only if you put that capital E in front of it, all right?
Because, yeah. You're so disgusted.
I'm not an RPer in any regards. Like this is my RP fix. And when I'm not here, I can, I don't have that drive.
Yeah.
However, there's a large portion of RPers in Final Fantasy, so if you want to RP.
Did you walk into the tavern and see him dancing on the table for coin again?
No, but
It was worse, and you don't want to know.
The funny part is, just last night, I figured out that not 2 houses down from my new house is apparently a speakeasy. And I spent like 3 hours sitting in there listening to
That's what I was thinking, Fee.
2 players who play bards just playing classical music and everything. And it was surprisingly good.
That's right, he wasn't on the table dancing, he was under the table. Performative
Working it
arts.
from both ends.
Oh, Jesus. It made my whole body clench up.
Call that one the sawhorse.
Man, I pulled away from my pretzels, okay? That was too much.
I was just hanging under there being a Dutch rudder.
Oh, man. Just spinning him around on a lazy Susan. Oh, my God.
Y'all seem to think I'm a lot more...
Before you even finish this, do you hear the way you talk about yourself? You just called yourself a Dutch rudder, all right?
No, I was actually just falling in with the joke. English.
It's all right.
You guys
Words are
seem to
hard.
think I'm a lot more perverted than I really am.
Well, I mean, you've given us years of material to believe otherwise.
Yeah.
at least he didn't try to sleep with a baboon yet.
That's fair.
No. I'm staying away from the Mikos.
He did with a butterfly, but
That's fair.
baboon's too high up on the chart.
You got a lot of work ahead of you, man. If you're gonna catch up to the enormity of Panda's history in this game.
Oh no, I'm never going to go ahead and meet pandas.
The fucking last thing he said before he had to leave the game was that. What was it? Was the
That baboon tore
that
me
baboon? No. It was the baboon wore out my leather donut.
up.
Yeah.
The only thing as close was Innie's dwarf character centrally dancing just outside of our camp.
I was doing the dance of my people.
The dance of
Kind of
murder.
My
Kind of
people
aggressively
were
wiggling towards
murder
us.
strippers.
Oh my god. I'm disgusted.
Dear God, don't bring murder strippers into this game. Jacob wouldn't have a chance.
I'm hoping.
How can I hit him if I can't look at him?
Yes. Noted. New enemy coming next month. Murder strippers.
The thing is, he still has to wait like 17 years before he can go into a strip club.
Yeah.
And
Well, okay, so you were
it's like-
technically like you were treated as an adult by the time you were like 14 years old. At this point in like history, you were given adult jobs at the age of 14.
all right, he's got to wait 13 years.
You're on your way, kid. You're on your way to big things.
Just 10 more years.
You're on your way. Oh no, Fee, not like this. Money, bub. Look at all that rep, man. Just banking 640,000 reputation just to make the murder stripper squad. And Annie, you got a long way before you're gonna get there, I think.
Yeah.
So, Ronald, you've been relatively quiet.
What's up?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting on you here.
Don't do it.
I'm waiting on you to just like chime in, give me anything.
Don't do it.
What did you need?
I think-
That's the question.
I think you have to do it.
Don't you fucking do it.
You,
I don't
you,
know what you guys are. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ronald, what time is it?
Oh, what time? Hold on. It's. Let me check right here. 6:09.
Thank you. Thank you.
My time.
Yeah, 9:09 mine.
But for everyone else, for the first time in 2021, do me a favor. Go into your bed. That dusty ass box that you guys see under there, go ahead and pull it out for me real quick. Just dust it off. Get that crowbar and open that box, all right? Look inside and get your chains and get your locks and get ready for tonight's Shackled recap. Foot on the leg. Welcome back, everybody.
That's right, folks. 2021. The Shackled recap, our very first one.
Yeah, here we all thought 2020 would be the end of all this bullshit, but no, it's continuing.
All right, Ron. Start us off. Hit us with some deets.
So
What's happened,
kind
man?
of jumping back a little bit from the from the last recap that we did from the watch party. We ended up finding out the truth behind, or Jacob found out the truth behind who his mother and kind of father are.
Would have been fun.
He got the news that Severin Novelant, the mayor, the beholder of Cauldron, was indeed married to his mother. Using that information, they ended up pretty much having a pretty deep talk about Jacob's self-worth and value, or how he evaluates himself, and he had to pretty much make a choice: either, pick himself up and find a reason to exist, or do people a favor and disappear from the world.
Right.
Shortly thereafter, Ulhime and crew show up, and there's an exchange of fist over the shattering of the Bloodstone. And Jacob, out of anger, charges a magical attack towards Ulhime. He doesn't hurt him physically.
But
he deals
I hear a but, come
damage.
on.
but he severed a bond.
Ooh. He's severed. Ooh, okay. All right, hold on. I can hold that thought.
He broke 2 links in the chain.
Tell me where Jakob has hurt you. I must know.
Point on this doll. Where
So,
did he touch you?
Go on. I'm taking
Even though
notes.
they've had disagreements before, Ulhime has never cast an offensive spell at Jakob.
Yes. Go on.
And Jakob I would say his most recent torments has been doing that quite a bit to a lot of people, but this was the first time and probably the only time that he's gonna do that to Ulhime.
Understandable. And you know, how does that make you feel?
Me, fine. I mean, that's shit happens, but Ulhime, I mean, he doesn't see Jakob as Jakob anymore. He pretty much just recognizes him as the Dawnbringer.
Revelation.
Yep.
You know, there's a book about those.
There is.
It's not a very good book. It's
Debatable.
like a character. It's a character building book.
It is.
Not my type of key.
Revision's a little
Close
better.
your eyes and believe in the shield. Don't believe in the shield. It doesn't
But
exist.
pressing forward with that, there was a potential emergency where there was black smoke billowing from the tome. As the group started realizing that this black smoke was billowing from, I believe, one of the chimney stacks, or what we perceived to be a chimney stack, everyone tried to rush inside or find a way to stem these flames and black smoke from spreading throughout the town again. Only when we got inside, we realized that one, Charlie Miles was dead with the emblazoned symbol of Ouija's. Or was it cut into him? I don't remember that specific detail.
It was burned.
Burned into him.
Mm-hmm. What better
Uh,
way than the woman of fire and death,
Blood.
right? The Ruby Goddess herself.
And now that Miles is dead, that hidden favor that could have been done for him can no longer be done. Yeah, that's right. I fucking remembered that. But it wasn't for my character. That was for Steven's. Yeah, see, you don't remember. I do. He told you if you were to find a statue of him in that pile and you were to give it to him, he would owe you one.
Yeah. He more or less explained that there might be a way that he could be freed.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
right. Okay.
Dang.
Well, he's
I don't
free
remember this-
now.
Yeah, I don't remember the statue. I remember.
Gone free into the great beyond.
Yeah. Continuing on, we ended up heading down into the lair of Sasha herself, where she wasn't too pleased that Daniel was trying to offer his services to her. And as a result, she started to lash out. One, because she was in pain, because severing the bloodstone and several of the chains that had bound it had released the curse back onto her, which was some sort of arcane dragon cancer that was eating away at her flesh, most of which had exposed her entire back,
Her spine.
and I believe rotted away most of her wings, but she still had the ability to fly, correct?
She... Dragons are magic.
Yeah, they don't need wings to
They
fly.
pretty much
can fly
write
by
the
magic
rules.
means.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, the wings were still rotted away.
Let's keep in mind there is an eldritch dragon which has no flesh on it anymore. Flying
It's not
around
well, it's not doing any of those things right now.
that we know of.
Was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, more than that, it's not just eating her skin. It was doing more to her than that.
It was
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wasn't. She
It's eating
wasn't
her magic.
all there.
eating away to her mind, right? Like it was like
More than just that, it was eating not only her mind, not just her skin, but literally her magic. her power. It was eating her power. Her raw ability to do anything was just slowly pulling
being
back.
drained.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was up until Nab had removed it, and then the curse started catching up to her.
Don't know why.
Let's you know what? Let's unpack that. Why? Why now?
Jacob
It's just like it's happening out of the blue. I mean, who knew?
Was it 19 chains were cut?
No, I think it was like
12.
It was
15.
It was like 15 or 16 chains.
Yeah, we can just keep saying different numbers until we get it right.
It was more than 10, substantially more than 10.
How many total were there?
There
50.
were 20. There were 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
you cut mostly all of them.
So one was cut by the gnome, Keegan. I think one was accidentally cut by Cort.
A few of them were cut by Cort accidentally.
But
when
with
you
your
guys
help.
when you were fighting with the
With the scythe.
Yep.
Yeah.
One was
Yeah.
broken by Steven when his
Correct.
blood landed on it.
Uh-huh.
And I believe the rest were cut by
But that his blood, he didn't willingly offer the blood. He was cut by you.
I don't know if that's
You also don't know the circumstances of how the blood or how it's required to be met.
we just know that when the blood got on it, a chain broke.
Some shit happened.
But anyway, the curse had started catching up to her, and she had gone into a rage because of it, and she had started to attack us while we were trying to get her to either calm down or some way to subdue her, with little effect.
I was trying to cast healing spells on her and trying mending her body, and they did make it through because she's a dragon, and well, I couldn't get through this kind of magic resist. But apparently she noticed something was going on and that I was trying to make an attempt to save her, but now she's paralyzed and I'm still on fire.
We were getting close until Jacob had shown up and had asked for his weapon. And that's what pretty much sent her into
And she got pissed.
It gave her the justification to essentially vaporize us.
I don't recall him coming to ask for his weapon.
Yeah, you ran
you
downstairs.
Did. You didn't just
and
ask for your
legit
weapon.
Said,
You said, Ulhime,
I need
give me a weapon.
Yeah.
You didn't
'Cause I'd
even
taken
walk
the cipher
downstairs.
from
You flew down the steps to the opening of her area and demanded a weapon from Ulhime, who wasn't even down the steps yet.
Yep.
Because she was preparing to blow a breath attack directly onto Innie. And she was actually he was getting through to her. Like Thelsa was getting through to her. And then you came down all nimbly pimbly. Ulhime, I need a weapon. And it was just like,
that's verbatim, dude.
laser vision.
Yeah. Like,
don't worry, there were
verbatim.
50 other people helping me watch this experience, and they were like,
yeah.
No.
And I saw it, and I had to see it twice.
He wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Well, I'm alive.
Yep.
I think.
But
I'm still on fire.
Going towards the end of that, she had ended up subduing her flames, so our group wasn't burning alive. She did plead to Ulhime to rid herself of that curse, and Ulhime took that offer to help her, and as a result, he not only got devoured by the flames, but I believe you said this session, when I come back, the phylactery is going to.
Yeah, your shield, the phylactery will be destroyed.
Yep.
Sacrificed his immortality.
Yeah, in an effort to help her, I gave up my immortality. But towards the end, just before I phase away, Nab reaches into her spine and pulls out one of her disc.
What do you think is a vertebrae? You couldn't really clearly tell because your vision was also starting to gray over.
Yeah, but it's speculation that that's what was taken.
Yeah.
Screen simulator.
But
Pretty
that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Demon Kane walked up and stole part of Shyvana's spine, and everything was fucking bad again. Oh,
And is
man.
everything never bad for us? Like it's constantly bad.
Whoa. Hold the fuck on. I have tried, okay? I've given boons aplenty. You guys got a wish from a god. Then
I'm
you
not
got.
saying this is on you.
Then you had another
It's us.
opportunity where someone was like, you know what? I'm gonna pass this. It's quite literally the greatest gift to mankind in the form of magic off to you. To you. And the sniper's like, I cut it in half. Yeah,
Ah,
Farm's
that's
right here.
right.
He says, it's called goddamn karma.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not even a little bit. But then again, it wouldn't be fun if I was like, hey guys, neon signs pointing down. This is your boon. This means good things. Don't destroy it.
I'm glad that you have enough faith that we would still follow that and think that that's a boon.
Bro, I just want you to ask before you start swinging at it.
He just he saw that neon sign, he shot the lights out and walked the other direction.
Seriously,
You know?
all it takes is just being like, wait a minute. Wait, hold up. Wait a minute.
There's
Something
this
right.
giant sign that says boon.
Is this-
Quick, let's go the other way.
Is this a good thing? Or is this a bad thing? And if you would have just asked that, the fucking heart rock would have been like, I promise, I'm good. Just don't cut me in half. Like, it's just that easy.
Guys, I don't trust it. It seems like it's lying
Jacob
to
would have been
me.
like, I don't trust that thing for nothing.
It's a
Shooing.
mimic, cut it in half.
Yep. Wait, he's got chains on it? That's bad. That means bad things. Bad things. We
It
cut it.
sucked up my friend. Kring.
Yeah. I love that, like, that line of thought there. My friend's inside of that thing, the one person who's cared for me from start and will continue to do so till finish, I'm gonna cut it in half. Repeatedly.
Well, do keep in mind, though, every time there's been a gemstone with somebody locked in, cutting the gemstone in half releases them.
You know, it's weird for someone with such a high aptitude for magic and magic items. You have the worst, like, thought process on how to handle those
Hey,
devices.
remember,
Handle
he's a
I'm
year
not
old.
wrong, though.
things.
Every time. Let's see. The stone that went ahead and held, the Archlich Dragon. The stone that went ahead and held, what's her name? The wife of,
The innkeeper's wife, Griffin.
yeah, the innkeeper's wife. Every time he has run across the stone, holding a soul inside, cutting it in half has released him.
All I'm gonna say is I'm grateful that some of the other players at least have the aptitude to consider whether or not, just because it seems bad, maybe it's not bad. Because your character would have died in utero if that
Like
were the case.
Like you treated it like Patrick. You're like, what are we doing? We're not cavemen. We have technology. Do.
You know what's really funny to me? Sniper wouldn't have been born if my character didn't birth him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he would have died in utero
Whoa. Let's go ahead
without
and
help
clarify.
from a paladin.
The character still would have been born. He just wouldn't be the son of Nabthatorin.
No.
if you hadn't
He
fucked.
wouldn't
I mean,
have
he's still-
come out.
I don't think you know how
Still.
babies work, because, like, just because one woman goes to a different man doesn't mean the same baby's picked out and predestined to come out, my friend. That's not how that works.
I'm saying that we didn't start this with the plan of him being the son of Nabthatorin.
I
It
did.
just happened to fit.
You didn't start
Yeah,
this.
you didn't. I fucking did.
You were like, oh,
doesn't
you
count
want to
in
go
this.
ahead and make it, oh, you want to go ahead and make a tiefling. We can do that.
I can work with that. And you know what? That goes for literally anything that I let you play. It's got to make sense and function in the world. Why on earth?
Yeah,
Why?
God forbid I just play a character.
I don't fucking understand for the life of me, like, why Daniel hasn't just been like, and just pieced the fuck out, because everything
your
is
character
bad, dude. Everything is
That's what I
bad.
was saying when you guys were talking the other day, like, wow, I don't know why they don't play good characters. I'm like, because the one time I played a good character, he lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
I
no
played, like,
idea.
Are you talking about Sun?
Yeah, son.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's just like I don't want to go walk down to hell again. I don't want to be there.
I'd like to take note that like half of my characters in this game have been paladins.
Fucking thank fuck, man, because if not, there would be a lot of other dead players in this game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that one dragon was enough to fear everybody else away.
Yes.
That encounter would have sucked if I wasn't a paladin and I also got feared away.
You know what's funny? I have to say, one of like the secret highlights of last session was watching her turn on her dragon fear, and then watching Thelsa and Daniel just start magic carp flailing in the ooze around her horde. I was like, this is so good bad. They want to escape so bad, but all they can do is just flail and Magikarp hop in spot.
I mean, to be honest, like I didn't want to escape. Like my whole thought process was just trying to like get an ally, because looking at this party, there's obviously some connection to like something great going on around them.
Right.
Is it good? Doesn't look like it, but I mean, they definitely have an influence that Daniel can use, and it's not something where. And it's just like how Daniel sees it. He's like, well, these guys obviously have connections to very powerful people that have very strong ties to other people that I may or not be able to, associate myself with. So it's like, that's why when I was like, okay, like maybe I can be a herald for Sasha, like, okay, well, if I can spread her influence, I obviously have a form of protection one way or another. Someone's gonna either be by reputation, or someone will be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna rob this guy, and then they're like, oh, well, he's got the crest of Sasha, like, we better just let him pass through. And then I immediately start having access to, other places that most people would probably be forbidden to go.
Sure, that's the best possible opportunity. Right, that is the best case scenario, but
it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, good intentions, right?
It's like you wanted to get brownie points with the Justice League, and you didn't realize you were working with the Suicide Squad the whole time.
Yes,
like,
yeah,
that's pretty much what happened.
That's a good analogy. But fuck, that's great.
I just wanted to teleport,
but you became really good friends with Boomerang.
Little did they know that this wasn't like, the DC Suicide Squad. No, this was just like a bunch of people with guns held to their heads.
I mean,
I just wanted to teleport to the top of the stairs while I was covered in goo and see if I could slip and slide my way down. That was it.
We're gonna go ahead and change the name.
But suddenly I can't teleport.
This is no longer Cauldron. It's now Jonestown.
This is quite literally the most fitting name is Cauldron. There's never been a more fitting town for this.
Unless it was like Bedpot.
This was called Cauldron for 480 years. Now we just call it Chamber Pot. And it's roughly been filled with idiots and shit for the last 24 years.
We call this the land of night soil.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, this is it. Like you guys have inadvertently and at points intentionally made a very thrilling bed. You made your bed. So now you got to sort it out. You're pretty much at the climax of your story.
Somehow or another, we keep making this bed out of nails with dominatrixes as bedposts.
You should stop. When they said nailer, they didn't mean like how you're doing it. Because you're doing it wrong.
I don't know where you're sleeping. Like at the church, I got a real nice bed.
You know what? This is actually when Thelsa comes through and it's like, y'all motherfuckers need Ouijas.
Yeah.
Let me. Everybody's gonna start going to church on Sundays.
I'll teleport us all home, but we're having church on Sundays, no matter where.
Ronald's just that meme of Homer, like sinking into the bushes, and he has the helm logo, and then he sinks in, and then comes back out as Ouijas.
Yep. So, without further ado, I think we start this because I think we can talk about it for a long while. Last week was, I'm reticent to say a catch-up week, but anybody who was able to watch was able to see exactly what happened. Plus, hearing what everybody has said now, I mean, I'm not going to say that everything feels like it's coming to a screeching halt, but man, it doesn't take much. If you grease the right palms, this will go very, very swiftly and smoothly in a lot of directions. You just got to work through it, okay? This is just a complicated math problem here. And I know that you got the tools, maybe not the technology, but you've got the tools. So break out your abacus, boys. He's already said get your chains and get your locks, because you're stuck here with me for at least the next 2.5, 3 hours. So
yeah, it's time for us to divide by 0.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and set our scene. I have a feeling that this session will probably be a bit more hands-off for me than not. The camera is going to pan. Our scene opens today specifically on Ulhime. You've managed to place your phylactery, an open-mouthed shield. You decorated it in such a way that it was moved to the Temple of Ouija. It was designed to hang over a bowl. Tell me a bit more about this bowl. What is this place? What is the purpose of it?
For that, I mean, it was supposed to kind of have like a fountain running beneath it, kind of very similar to like the whole Hades effect, where every time he would come out of it, he would rise from the pool and effectively be, washed and cleansed.
Yes.
But that went to a screeching halt. I would say the moment I came back, the shield itself starts to like turn even like this like more dull gray, and it just starts to kind of like fizzle down into ash.
More so than that, it begins to weaken. You notice as you are birthed through this layer of water. It's like you've provided yourself your own canal here. And as you erupt from this font, the mouth of your shield, you witness as it begins to break down, and where it had this almost dome-like shape to it, it begins to fall through, and the filament begins to break down as it sort of recedes down into the water. And as you begin to step out of this, feeling the moisture begin to fall from your shoulders down your arms, you look, and all that really remains is this almost stony gray look that it leaves on the inside of this brass bowl, where you can see the mouth of Pariah and the crying eyes that seem to have painted permanently etched into the bottom of this brass bowl, this diviner's bowl. At this point, there isn't a feeling that sort of resonates inside of you. You no longer have this initial thrum and hum about you that allows not only the people around you, but you to recognize that you are this almost forever institution. You feel normal. More than that, you breathe for the first time.
Oh, that'd be a jarring moment. That would be me standing there and just going like not breathing for a couple of months, and then suddenly like having to take in air. Yeah, hell yeah, I would like stand there and like start going to like that slight panic attack, like, oh shit, what's going on?
Not only that, it smells like shit.
Oh yeah.
Your throat begins to tighten. Your senses begin to burn. And as you sort of like lunge out, you spittle up this darkened like ichor-like bile, and you gasp for air for that first time. And then you notice that when you kind of fall to the ground, you get the sensation of touch, pressure on your fingertips. Or before, you didn't have that. Dying was simply to you, it was just a matter of your force dropping to nothing so that you would be reborn again. But now, you feel everything. The breeze hitting the back of your wet clothes seems to cool your back. Your elbows crack as you have fallen to the ground. Your eyes are hazy, and you breathe again for the first time in months. You are most certain that this is all too familiar, while foreign, as of recently, it is all too familiar. And you know, with the falling of Pariah, that there will be no more returns. That was your last fall through. And that might be because of the good graces of Ouija. But another god will consistently watch over her shoulder. She waits for you to fall from the graces of Ouijas. A lady of graves waits in the boneyard, forever etching your name into her throne. The scene is yours. You enter into this establishment. This is the Temple of Ouija in all of its glory and nature, with its alabaster pillars and marble floor. The pews that had just been brought in to establish a place. Thelsa is attempting to gear this place up for an event.
The Ruby Convocation.
That is correct.
So as I splatter out, like I'll still be on the floor. I guess my immortality ends then. And then he like slowly starts to stand, and he starts rubbing his eyes. He'll head to like one of like the immediate chambers, and he'll dress himself in the like the crimson robes, but obviously he'll get some pants, some boots. But he'll dress himself, but he'll wear the garb of a priest of Ouija, or a follower, an acolyte of Ouija, since he's not an actual priest.
Give me a perception check. Very, very good. You're peering around. You're beginning to place all of these implements upon your person, the markings, the throne robes of Ouijas. When you catch a glimpse in a mirror, it is a large, ornate, and beautiful mirror. Oh, thank you, Fierce. Fierce came through and it looks like he gave, 5 luck rerolls, or excuse me, 1 luck reroll, courtesy of Fee. Thanks so much, man. Mace Windu, Jezebel, Madrox, In Death Hands, and Rotcoil. All been subbed up.
Thank you.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate that. So, you catch a reflection of yourself while you're pulling this robe down over your head, moving this backwards. Farm, making sure that there's another luck reroll right there. CD
Thank
Hugo,
you, Farm.
Neo, A Fail Tale, Gonra, and Zach. That's one luck reroll for me, 2 for you guys. And in this reflection, you see something you hadn't seen before. A lesser individual would not have caught this, but this begins to fade the moment that your eyes focus. You see a vision. Tracers. It seems almost as if a reminder of people before you. You see dwarves. You see your father. Your father's father. You see cousins. Your family. Well, there's a reason that you left the Osirian desert. Something you hadn't really told many people. You're the last of your line. You've no brothers. You've no sisters. You have no half-siblings. You left your home to come to this place. And you made an ally, unlikely to the rest of the world. And in your homeland, it would have been poorly looked upon by your family. You're the last in the shield-bearer line. And as the vision fades away, you see the hand come up and grab your shoulder. A proud moment between father and son, and you can almost feel it. You draw your hand up to make sure it's actually there, and you just feel the pressure of the water soaking what little robe you had there at the time, just pulling up over your shoulders. And they're gone. You don't know what it means. You don't know the purpose. But you did see dwarves there that you didn't actually know. They were dressed in garb that was relatable to this land. You never met them before, though they looked native. But one thing is for sure, outside of those few, everyone that you had caught in that image That was family.
Seeing that image, he takes his hand off of his shoulder after he turns around and they're gone, and just kind of mutters to himself. They're still with me then. Good. And knowing that, he'll kind of give a soft smile and try to make his way back over to the tome.
Give me a wisdom. I want to see if you can recall some of these events. Okay. Are you happy with that? If you want to stick with that, you can. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. You roll around in your head what that might mean. You'd never seen anything like that before. You'd never been visited by echoes of the past, a family you'd once had. There is a reason that you left. There's a reason that you hadn't talked to your father in so long. When you left the lands of the Osirian Desert, he had already passed. Your mother had died many, many years prior to that, and he held on simply through stubborn graces, living old, a very, very long life, even comparable to most dwarves. Piss and vinegar, he was oftentimes seen as a very hard individual. But you left. You had nothing there. You had no allies, no friends. You had a few contacts at best. But as you're rolling that around, mulling it through and through, you find it funny. It just runs over the top of you for a while. You're thinking about your current allies, your current companions. Jakob has no one but people who have been playing him like an ornate chess piece and decorates a board. He's been moved from place to place. He has no siblings. His mother is dead. He has a father figure that wants to see him controlled, another father figure that he never knew he had that wants to see him dead because of what he represents. You think of Thelsa. Thelsa simply chose to end her family line. There's no one else for her. All she has is you. Then you think about the boy. You think of Cort. He came to this place, orphaned by his own cause. The only person he had, a one-armed knight who gave up on life, who's now stationed outside the city teaching other kids. And all you can think is how bizarre it is that your stories are all alike in so many ways. Certainly, that can't be a coincidence. But then you think to Daniel. He's new. He's talked about his family. He's talked about dragons. He seems a little wet behind the ears, especially for the amount of powers that he packs, but you wonder what his purpose is. And then you remember all of your friends again. You left them there, in the fire. What do you do?
I mean, knowing, kind of having that realization. I mean, kind of like mulling over the thoughts of what's happening. I mean, it's honestly just making it back to them. The last I seen, the fire was dying down, but I don't know their condition. I don't know if they're still alive or not. So I mean, it's running to them to make sure they're okay.
Okay. You move. It's still daytime. Or it's close enough. Nightfall hasn't quite hit. It's starting to be that point in the day when the sun is beginning to fall, but the skies are pink. It's like lit with fire. People are mulling about. They have no idea the events that occurred. You can see a trail of smoke. You know the destination you're going, and it just checks out. But when you get there, the smoke peters from the ground. Ash. The building no longer stands. Almost as if it didn't exist. A campfire rests in its place. You can see the markings, the etchings of a building. A place where the door had swung outward at one point. But there is no building.
Is there still that tunnel that leads down?
No. You know that was highly unlikely dug into the ground as well. The way that it was designed, the way that it felt as you stepped through, it was very, very uncanny by nature and design. And the amount of time that it had traveled, you knew that it had gone far, far into one of the mountains, one of the volcanoes.
So this is most likely, if I'm trying to get back to them, then I have to find a way underground then.
If they're underground at all.
I mean, outside of that, can I look for any clues to see if they themselves might have been shifted or launched somewhere? If this was like a magical building, and because Sasha's dead or unconscious, the spell ended?
I mean, you can try, but what do you have?
I mean, I'll try detect magic. I'll turn that on to see if I can see anything, any trace of the scythe to locate, to see if there's a location where I can discern it from where it was originally.
Sure. And you attempt to discern it. You know that Cauldron is just riddled. It's peppered with a variety of magical things. Magical implements and instruments, various weapons, trinkets and baubles, everything that you might be able to discover. It's all over the place. Nothing sort of ekes out. It's not like, this is an anime moment, right? Where you turn on the vision and you're looking and you can see little things here and there, and then suddenly there's a blazing bonfire of magic. That's not the case.
Yeah.
For the first time, you feel lost.
Damn, I don't really think I have anything that can possibly divination.
Divination's not bad. It just depends on what you intend to do with it and sort of magic you might have packed away for it.
This will be the spell. I don't know if it'll help or not.
Divination can provide you with a useful piece of advice in reply to a question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity that is to occur within 1 week. The advice granted by the spell can be as simple as a short phrase, or it might take the form of a cryptic rhyme or omen. If your party doesn't act on the information, the conditions may change so that the information is no longer useful. Okay, sure. We can do this. So what is your caster level?
I am an 11th level cleric.
Okay, so then you have 11 caster levels at 70% base, so you have an 81% chance. Choose your 81% range.
1 to 81.
Remember, you have 2 luck rerolls. If you roll outside of it, you can use it for that.
Yep.
19.
Awesome.
So you cast Divination. What does this look like for you?
Well, seeing as they're not in that immediate area, I would have probably had to have head back to the temple at this point to use the scrying orb and like the incense and stuff that they have there.
Also, I want to know what you use as an offering. This requires an offering worth 25 gold minimum. You're getting divine help in the form of a riddle or a piece of information.
I mean, I still have it on me, but the necklace of the smoking eye? I mean, at this point, Occipitous isn't really my goal to rule and conquer anymore. I mean, I wouldn't know why I even had the necklace to begin with. But, I mean, I'm assuming that has value to it of at least 25 gold.
Potentially. You also have no idea where this goes.
Yeah. So I would use the necklace that I had, and I would cast the spell asking the location of my friends, so they won't die just to their wounds, because they are wounded. So I would want to know how to get to them.
Okay. You begin to cast the spell. Divination. You rarely use something like this. This isn't something that is quick by any stretch of the means. There's an art form, a ritual to this. And you never understand, at least from what you've been told, how it even operates. So the information that you get may not lead you in the right direction. You've no idea. But you spend the next 10 minutes preparing the spell, and the only thing that you can think that has immediate value on your person is the Amulet of the Smoking Eye, which, for all intents and purposes, indicates ownership. It's like a crown for a layer of hell called Occipitus. As you take this necklace and you commence to casting your spell, it seems to almost hold on to this feature, this natural look to it. It takes on this almost ornamental design of what looks like cracking brindle or like ice. And as your spell comes to a completion, it just begins to dust and turn to particle in your hand. And as the wind catches it from your palm, dragging it to the earth, that dust darkens. You notice that it turns into a pointed arrow, missing one corner of its head. So it points in a direction with one flagstaff. And you look onward at the rows of cauldron, and you think, what could be in that direction? You pause for a moment, and a flash before your eyes. A series of words appears in front of you as if you're reading a book. When walls and crenellations rise betwixt walls and crenellations, in a king's throne he sits, when jesters wait outside like crows. You have an idea about the direction that it's going. Give me a knowledge local. You can make it untrained. Ooh. You gonna re-roll it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is hard stretched for you. You were never good at this particular thing. But you ponder it for a while, and then you keep looking. Walls and crenellations inside of walls and crenellations. You keep glancing over there. And you know what a crenellation is, correct?
Negative. You would need to educate me on that word.
A crenellation is when you look at the top of a castle wall and it looks like it's chipped tooth. So it's basically the pattern.
Yeah.
So when walls and crenellations rest inside of walls and crenellations, you look to the basalt walls that surround all of this city of Cauldron. You can see its crenellated angles at every point. And you look inside, glancing. You can see, it looks from this direction that there is the jail area, the guard, where it looks like
the guardhouse, because it has, okay.
They built crenellated walls. But
on the other side, it's the same thing.
But simultaneously you think, where a king sits in his throne, and those rest outside like crows.
That could be.
What
That
other
could be
plays?
the mayor's?
Yeah. The mayor's looks like a small castle. He built crenellated walls all the way around his keep.
Right. And the whole reference to gestures is pretty much people being fooled by his deception.
There you go.
So, picking up on that, he once again kind of hits his gauntlet hand to his. Would it be a regular hand now?
No, it's still the same.
Okay, so yeah, to the force hand, you hear the Severin, and he makes his way over, starts running. I would go unarmed.
You were also getting winded for the first time if you're running.
Oh shit, that's right.
Additionally,
It runs for 3 feet.
what arms are you taking? You have no weapons.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't really have anything to begin with. I
You
just
have
have my
robes.
clothes.
You look like clergy. You're running.
Yeah.
You're crossing the gap as much as you can. You get about 30, 40 seconds into your sprint. And you feel it, and that pain, that tightness in your chest, that old feeling.
Yeah.
Dwarves weren't meant for long distance. You're good in short bursts, but not long distance. But you finally cross the gap.
Yeah, as he's running, you kind of hear him like getting mad, like just that dwarven anger just like rising again. He's like, the gods have cursed me with these lungs again.
Perfect.
Man, I haven't eaten in decades.
Yeah. I could go for about 6,000 sandwiches.
He'll actually be able to enjoy food again.
True.
Yep. I mean, there was like a taste, but it wasn't like.
Taste. It
Yeah.
was a flavor.
Yeah.
You cross over several streets, from low tome to low scroll to low sword, and then the middle scroll, before finally you reach the crenellated wall of the mayor's house. And it doesn't take long for you to find them because it's not as if they're hidden. And there's an audience.
Pog.
Townfolk are gathered. They are gathered around and they're watching. They're mumbling to themselves, "Oh my God, look at it. Who would do such a thing?" And when you push the crowd, you see the guards that are attempting to pull down these large wooden poles. Your friends are roped at the wrists, and they're hanging from a large vertical banister. Their bodies battered, beaten, and burned. Their clothes have been opened on the front, and something has been carved into their chest. Each of them.
What?
Give me perception.
Giant penis.
Actually, each one of us has a different letter, and it spells wrecked across the four of us.
You turn us around and our back it says pwned.
Large, gash-like wound. 3 strikes, one vertical angle and another vertical, forming an N in each of their chests.
Nami-sama.
An N?
Yes. None of the others could know what this means. No audience. Potentially the mayor. But the mayor isn't here.
Yeah.
This is a message to you. Do you offer help or do you let them?
Yeah, I would call for one of the guards to get their a boot dagger. I'm assuming is one of them's gonna have.
Yeah, each of them have something on their belt.
And Ulhime starts cutting them down. And as he's doing that, he still hears the muttering.
This is not just like it's not like they're hung up so that you could just cut a rope and they're good. They're like 15 feet up. This was designed intentionally so that everyone could see them. Like a scarecrow, they hang.
Oh. Yeah, then I would start looking to the guards. Help me bring them down. And then he looks back to the group. All of you disperse. What are you doing here? There's a curfew. Leave.
Give me an intimidate. Not exceptional.
I'll re-roll that one.
Okay.
I'll use my last re-roll.
Sure. This time,
Not much better.
with a little more gusto, it's a little squeakier. It's just, you have that intensity. But you're able to manage, like, you can get a few of them to leave. A few of them, they've got children, they pull to the side. But some of the men are just watching. The brow furrows at your threat. A determination built inside of you, but what does it matter? A curfew. When men are being hung in broad daylight. A spectacle for all to see. Nobody even saw them appear.
They're just there.
They were just there.
We're all unconscious, right?
Some of you may be like in and out.
Roll the wiggle.
The only common thread at this point is when you begin to remove the pole that Cort is attached to. There is a slight vibration in his pole.
I'm assuming that's because his clockwork
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
Swiss machinery.
I would still try. With Cort specifically, I would try to be a little more careful, knowing that I'm not sure if it's already sustained any damage. But I would try to be a little more careful with his, asking for at least like 3 guards to kind of help lift, and then slowly kind of like turn it down. Like, I know that the weight would be jarring,
Yeah.
given how heavy he is, but I would have a little more, so that way he could come down a lot easier. So that way the clockwork mechanism wasn't damaged.
This is not only, as to say, a painful experience for you to save your allies yet again, this will be somewhat damning and painful for them. If they had gear and it wasn't metal, it's burned. They're mostly naked. Their clothing, they were literally in fire, in dragon's bile fire. So if they have any interesting scars that they didn't want the world to see, surprise.
Yeah.
Not talk about it.
They see you in all of your glory. Birthday suits abound. The one that is most confusing isn't even Jakob. It's the fact that Cort has some sort of bizarre apparatus attached to his body that's been charred, still functioning, but charred.
My weak spot.
But you get them down. And when you do so, the guards move off with these enormous logs, and you're offered no more aid. In fact, you're told to take them elsewhere. If you know them,
Yeah.
take them elsewhere.
Yeah, I would see if there's like a nearby cart or something that I could get them in and start pulling them towards the Temple of Ouija.
Guy with the cart. He might have a nail in it still, but I'm sure he'd help us.
Perception.
Oh no!
Nope, 4 of us.
Had to just open your fucking mouth.
Look, if I'm thinking it, Bub's already thought about it 4 weeks ago.
There is a cart. And there is a man. An elderly man with long silvered strands of hair.
Ah, damn it. Yeah.
You peer around looking
Gilfrey, Silverlight.
for any kind of aid. And there a familiar figure stands. Gilfrey Silverlight. His back leaned just against the largest and heaviest side of the wagon. But the holder end seemed to be pointed into the ground to provide some support. He watches. His cart looks sort of perfect. It would be used to haul like grain or corpses. But he waits. and he watches.
I'll approach.
Do you seem distressed at all?
I mean, I would say on edge now. Not that he would be the one behind it, because I don't think he was, but like, he's here, and I'm not as equipped to deal with him if I have to deal with him at all.
Oh no, you're not.
Oh, I mean, that sense of actual like fear also comes running back, like me being amped about a situation easily comes back.
Sure.
So
you remember now what it's like to be in a room with something infinitely more terrifying than yourself, knowing that you can't just make a poor choice and come back and try again later. But he watches, and you notice that he's not wearing the gloves.
Fucking flame strike. No, I'm just kidding. That's not.
Amplify spell. Jacob, give me a weapon.
He leans with his arms back onto it, leaning his back on it, and he's just watching. You said you approach.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything. He's waiting for you to open.
Do you know how long they've been here?
I've got an idea. But why? The humiliation's been set the moment that they landed.
I still need to get them out of here.
Why not let them hang for the mistakes that they've made? How are you still alive? Last I saw you, I've whipped you from a building, from the top of this very city. I was sure that you'd be torn asunder.
I landed on my feet.
He looks down to your feet. Dwarves are made of tougher stuff. Why did you come to me? You know my position. You know how I feel about him.
I think the prospect of trying to avoid you, even in the open, when I've tried to make amends, well, knowing that I'm trying to make amends would be in poor taste to show that I would avoid you.
To make amends for whom? For yourself or for him again?
Possibly both.
So you're left standing, holding on to his baggage. How long will you keep for him? Because I'm willing to wager that he will not keep for you.
You might be right. And recently, I think you're more right about that than I've realized before. But if I did anything else, then I wouldn't be me. And I don't want to lose myself to the darkness that this place holds right now, even if it kills me.
Load them into the wagon.
Fuck yeah! I mean, yeah, cool. Let's. I'm just kidding. Ulhime gives him a stern nod, and he starts loading him up. He will put Cort in first, since he's kind of the heaviest, and then then from there it'll be David, Jakob, and then Thelsa. He'll kind of have sitting on top, so none of them are crushing her.
You meant Daniel.
Daniel, sorry. What the fuck did I call you?
David.
David, yeah, that's right. Sorry. The dragon kid.
Perfect. You
throws him face down in defense mode.
tapped in, prepared to attack. Perfect.
Yeah.
So you line them all up. in the back of the wagon. There aren't blankets. You notice as you're bringing them in, like, they're not bleeding. You notice the wound on their chest is dried. It is puckered. Is it a fresh like wound, but it is not so fresh that they're bleeding out.
Like it's starting to, like it coagulated, but it happened recently enough.
Yeah, it's been, from your best guess, it's been at least an hour.
Yeah.
Additionally, as he moves the cart into position to move them forward, he tells you that he's not doing it for you. He used to be a follower. Religion used to play a major part in his life. I've noticed as of recently that most of the religion in this town has been lost. Additionally, even if he is mixed up in your lot, the boy is not inherently bad. And you, well, I've already paid you my dues. I got what I felt I needed out of it. And you came out just fine. This one I do not know. You can tell me now if he's going to cause more harm than not.
Is he pointing at Daniel as when he says that?
Yes.
He shrugs. Honestly, I haven't even seen what he is really capable of. He came into town, maybe 2 nights ago.
And he's already this involved.
Unfortunately.
You should keep a notebook, a quill, next to your bedside to write down the names of those that you wrong and that have wronged you. I'm sure it would go a long way to indoctrinating those that are new to this city.
Well, I can rent out the library and use the shelving there. It's a long list.
Suppose that you should, at least at this point, start considering whom of which is an ally, and those of which you intend to run afoul of. It would go quite well in your service, in your favor. And in my previous line of work, it was rather handy to keep record.
I would try to abstain from following that line of work, even though it seems that the line of work that I'm in now almost runs parallel with what you were doing, but less intentional and more accidental.
With what I was doing, you claim to know, or at least have an idea of. Please entertain an old man while we walk. What do you think I did?
Well, from a couple of mouths that had been speaking throughout this city before, trouble went, well, over the walls. People said you were a really high-end assassin, someone to be feared, never seen, only when you wanted to be.
It's not far off the mark. In my youth, I was capable of many things, but what I studied to be was an entertainer.
Kind of like cocks an eyebrow up, like, what?
He moves his hands up as you're pulling the wagon. I would orchestrate. I was a puppeteer. I
Strings make sense.
Happened to find someone to teach me many a thing. Things that I would not teach my own children, my grandchildren. Blood has a way of really marring the way that you look at the world. Bodies can stack up quickly in more than just the physical space. Some faces stick with you forever. And eventually you lose sight of the worth of a man, or a woman, or even a child. I decided to step away. But what I was doing, I was led to believe that it was for a purpose, for good reason. The people I was dispatching, removing, were problems for the world. In my unique string of abilities, ordained for greater purpose. Killing children was never something I wanted to do, but it was something that I was forced to do. I just wanted to live out the rest of my days, watching my grandchildren get older. And if he were in different shape, I may exact my revenge on your pallid numbskull workhorse. But he's worse for wear at the moment, and he would be no fun of a fight.
He kind of just looks down, like he's not like he didn't disagree with what he said. Like he kind of just was like, kind of like just shrugs at the notion of when he says that.
Where are you taking him? Where are you taking the bodies?
Temple of Ouija.
Okay. When you arrive at the temple, he asks for you to get the door, to ready some beds, and he'll bring them in.
He does.
When you glance back, he's dragging them behind him, expressing a strength that you didn't quite anticipate, and you never really know if it's something that he's doing additionally. But where he walks, his hands kind of pull behind him as if he's dragging almost like bags of groceries behind him, like just literal dead weight. And you can never quite see what attaches them, but they stagger in length. One is 5 feet away, another is like 6 or 7. Jakob, having the loosest pull and string on it whatsoever. After it gets them up the first 6 or so steps, and he gets about probably 5 feet in the building, he rapidly drags harshly upon the furthest string, which is Jakob's. His body bounces up the steps, tumbling in. When he looks to you, his eyes are up and he goes, "Oops."
I don't know the limits of your powers, so...
It's all tricks. And if I told you, that would be no fun. It's part of discovering the magic.
Your magic isn't something I want to discover again. I think it's safe to say that.
Well, your magic is something I wish to discover because you've managed to stumble upon eternal youth or eternal fortitude.
A bit of luck, nothing more. Arrogance that had run its course.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get you into much more trouble.
I fear by the end of it, my time here will be completed.
Just nods. It's an accepting, it's an understanding nod. Knowing what it means to have your time completed. You're looking at a relic of a different time, where skills and abilities, not something that you're used to seeing. It's creative. You recognize his raw talent, but it doesn't take much to snip a string. If you can cut his cable, you don't really know what he's got. You're not really sure how many tricks he's got up his sleeve. But that's the secret, and that's the danger about Gilfrey. You never really know what he's got set up. He finds the way to the cots, the beds, dragging each of them. Their bodies move almost serpentine-like as they follow his stride and step, before inevitably he stops in front of the beds, and he brings each hand up, and with a flick of each finger, they begin to slide, serpentine-like, up the beds and the cots themselves. With a quick hand flip, you hear almost like this release of cable, and their bodies fall limp to the beds.
The moment he does that, Ulhime will put his hands together, and he'll give 3 charges of channel positive energy.
One perception, please, before you do that, Daniel. Or even after. Let's see. I'm going to give him a sleight of hand. Ooh, okay. You got no more luck rerolls, so it's not like you're able to see it. If you were able to beat a 34, then you would have seen it. Okay, so that's 24, then 18, then 18. That's 36. That's 50. So that's 60. Excuse me. You healed them for 60.
So yeah, as he does that, it looks like when he clamps the gauntlet, that like when he pinches the center of his palm, it looks like it's blood dripping out, and then as it like hits the other palm, it like shoots out in these red waves that start healing them.
Yeah, it's like an aura, watching almost like a sound wave visibly, where they've placed dust out, and you can see it start to shift and shake. And
yeah, I would include Gilfer in that
you.
too. I don't know if he's had any damage, but he would also be included in that.
I gave you the chance to see it, and you definitely didn't see it.
That's fine. But yeah, he does that, and he looks back to him. Thank you.
For what?
You didn't have to do what you did, and you could have enacted your vengeance upon Jakob, myself, everyone here. You could be done with us. There's nothing I can do right now that would be able to stop you. You know that, I know that. If they were awake, maybe in some divine intervention occurs, we have a chance at stopping whatever it is you're capable of, but...
Allow an old man to impress upon you. You remind me very much of myself. I only resulted in becoming a puppeteer because my abilities went far beyond that of strings. My fire was quelled by my own allies many years ago. And while my revenge has not been exacted, and I still intend to bring hell upon that man there on that bed, you remind me of myself. And the only thing that I may ask of you is to find who you are before your fire is pulled away by someone that you trust, that offers you nothing the same. Or you'll have to be resulting to finding strings. Now in my youth, I was infinitely scarier. We learn to work with what we have. I'll be back, especially now that I know exactly where everyone tends to stay. I'm glad it's something a bit more fitting. It's rather poetic to die in a church. A crusted old bathhouse seems poor by design.
Still working on it. Not sure if you've seen any of the updates, but little, but progressing.
Good evening, Ulhime. Make good decisions.
I can't make any promises to that, but I'll try.
He throws his hand up behind him, as if he's listening, but he's also just like, I couldn't be bothered. And then he leaves. Now, I want to know exactly what you intend to do with these four here.
Tend to their wounds.
Okay.
Would probably be the best thing. First off, examine Cort.
Cort's mechanism is functioning. It is functioning. It's not pretty. Scorched leather, while it could be a look in some era, it is not the look here, and it makes him look like he is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But it seems to be functioning. However, you also know the importance of the apparatus and how Keegan said that the seals cannot dry. If the seals dry, it will stop.
And those are on the outside, correct?
There's outside
those-
seals, but then there is a greasing unit. Essentially, like you have to. It's sort of like a large syringe that's meant to pierce the leather, and you basically pump a fluid to the mechanism itself so that it can stay potentially like properly lubricated to work.
Does it sound like it's grinding at all? Does it,
Oh yeah.
like what
Oh
I
yeah.
know?
There's
Okay.
there you. While you may not understand really what smoke and fire can do to like a mechanism like a clock or any kind of mechanical device, you can hear that it sounds different, though it is functioning.
Okay. But I wasn't even there for the process of him getting that done, was I?
You were not.
So I wouldn't even. Okay, so that'd be Thelsa then. Well, I mean,
Thelsa.
yeah. So I mean, checking on him. I mean, there's not much I can do. But for the rest of them, examining any additional wounds they might have. I'll check Daniel next to see what's going on with him.
Okay. You take. We're just gonna say that you're gonna take some time here. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
Daniel looks mostly fine aside from some burns. Most of it doesn't seem like it's too terrible. He wasn't in the fire so long. But who's really bad off? Really bad off?
Thelsa?
No, not even Thelsa.
Oh no, Jakob.
Jakob.
Yeah.
Jacob's
he'll,
in a rough way.
He'll take a slower pace towards Jakob and start examining him.
Didn't Jacob try and save him from the fire?
Save who from the fire?
Trying to remember if he like tried to go ahead and block the fire or anything like that.
So it was weird the way that it played out. Your immediate turn of action was to fly down, and with the rest of your round, you said, I need a weapon, and you cast Mirror Image. And in the next round, you got blasted with 24d10 of fire.
Yep.
Yeah, mirror image didn't really help with that one.
Nah, but you managed to lessen the damage on the others. Your body took the brunt of it. They made no saves at all, and I think Cort took 75%, and then Ulhime took 50%.
And I took 100%.
You took 100% of it, which was like 138 damage, I think.
Yep. I think I saved on mine too, so I took like technically 25 of what that would have been.
Yeah. Additionally, I would like to note, while inevitably your body will heal, and your body will heal just fine, for the duration of this, and for the length of the character, unless something else changes, your resistance to fire is no more.
Sure.
So, for the next couple of days, leading all the way up to the Ruby Convocation, there will probably be like a 2 or 3 day parse between the Convocation, which I know is going to put Thelsa into intense work mode, because not everything is finished.
I would be using that time, whatever spells I can offer. I believe make whole, and I forgot what the other one was, but if it's going to be like nothing, if we're time jumping, it would be that time to like pretty much clean and rebuild as much as we can using that.
The building's fine. She had workers that were here that she had already paid, that they managed to fix everything. They fixed absolutely
a whole bunch
everything.
of Masons come in.
Uh-huh.
Oh, then yeah, just getting clean. Oh, I get my fucking tailor, dude. I gotta pick up my tailor-made outfit that I made.
Yeah, I got mine going too that I have to go get at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Gotta get a
Supreme.
new ruby.
Supreme written on the shirt of it. It's
Yeah, I
fucking-
need a ruby too.
You need a new ruby for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because my dinner plate ruby is somewhere in some realm that I cannot access.
So we'll be back.
And let's
in
be honest.
just a
At this
second.
point,
I'm gonna go ahead and let the guys talk to each other so they can figure out what it is, because I think they're just now starting to realize what the cost was to getting the new ruby and
Yeah.
whom they
that's
traded
us.
it to what for. So they've
Yep.
got to figure it out. We're gonna take like a 2 minute. I'm gonna step away, get another water, run to the bathroom. You guys do the same. We'll be back in just a second, and then we can talk a bit more about what the hell is going to happen there and after. So,
Yep.
see you in just a minute. BRB. All right, guys, we're back. We just had to deal with some logistics behind screen, and we're here. We are here. So hopefully we can get some things figured out. So back where we were, back dealing with the nonsense around us, friends. You spent the next few days tending to their wounds, consistently channeling positive energy, and you know that can only go so far. You know how challenging it is to consistently mend the wound repeatedly. Because channel positive energy, cure light wounds, these mechanically, you're just filling an empty pool with numbers, right? You're just filling the bowl. But it doesn't really stop the wound. It doesn't suture the wound. It doesn't do anything like that.
I have heal checks as well if you want me to incorporate that throughout
Please do.
few days.
Yeah.
How many did you want?
Who did you want to spend them on?
I mean, if Jakob has the most damage, I guess technically he'd be the one getting that treatment. Everyone else kind of just needs bed rest, right?
Well, let me see what you got. Give me a heal check to see if you can determine the severity of his wounds. 19. Are you happy with that? Oh, you don't even have any more. You've used your rerolls, so you got to be happy with it. Jakob's skin is scarred horrifically. Even for a tiefling, having the ability to have some assertive control over fire and resist it to a degree, this surpasses all of his latent and static ability with flame. Her fire is so potent, it shifted the abyssal control of his blood. Now, that is a fire that has taken a long time to curate. Very, very, very particular. And you recognize that you do not have the raw ability to make this go away. And you might be able to fill his metaphorical bowl of health back up, but his skin is basically melted. Movement for him when he comes around will be almost impossible. He will be bedridden unless something changes. So unless you have a way of removing the skin, giving him a chance to heal, and you don't actually know. You don't really know you don't have enough medical knowledge to note that the body's in fighting infections at the moment, and it's attempting to resolve the situation so that it can go back into a healing process. But you know for certain from seeing flames, like seeing the way that a flame-licked wound will heal, that it does a lot to the flesh, and it loses its malleability. It loses its ability to stretch and then return and bend and contort from time to time. And you're most certain that you do not have the ability to do this. Maybe in a few more levels. You know, maybe if you and your god were closer and you had the time and the due diligence to study this, but for Jakob, that won't mean anything. He almost might sooner take his life.
I have a solution if I come to before things get worse.
This is day one. So is there anything that you're going to be doing? Anything you wish to do? You're just kind of pondering and letting it like kind of mull over your mind.
I mean, at this point, yeah, because I don't have anything to restore. Like I have restoration, but that doesn't yeah, like restoration doesn't regenerate.
No, Restoration does not regenerate. You're aware that there is that magic exists.
Yeah, but I don't have it.
You just kind of want to wait it out. Hopefully you get more aid from your allies after they awaken.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I can do. Outside of that, I mean, on my end, yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You tried flaying him.
All right. Give me another heal check the next day. And are you spending it particularly on him, or are you spending it elsewhere?
That heal check I will try on him again if I can.
Okay. Okay. That's better. Now, you've been still continually and gradually giving them your channel positive energies. You've been tending to their wounds as much as you possibly can, keeping them bound, adding fresh new rags. You've probably gone out of rags and you're using some of the robes and the various linen that you can tear away. And you have been providing them as much of a reprieve as you possibly can. With this, you know that there are some ointments and things that you can use to give him reprieve. But his skin is still scorching to the touch. You're not sure if that is because of the fire, if it's because of the healing, or it's because he's sick. But you're convinced that if he wakes up now, he will be in so much pain. So much pain.
Wake me up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using whatever was it these days to help get them up, right? That's what the heal check is.
It's mostly to tend to their wounds until they can naturally wake up.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm aware that Balthar has, I don't know that he has that ability.
You do not.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the best I can do. The next day would probably be another heal check to see if I can still give him more comfort at this point. Asking Jenya when I go over to do a Hero's Feast if there's some way I can help him, or if she can help me if she has time. But that would be about it.
On your second day of Hero's Feast, you've been going in the evenings after you've made sure that you've tended to their wounds, you've changed their bedclothes, you've done everything you can. You know, like you're even going as far as maintaining their, like, feeding them and changing their undergarments, because they're defecating on themselves. They're pissing on themselves, right? So you have to clean everything. You're acting like a handmaiden, and this shows quite a bit more dedication to, one, the cause, and two, to them, than I think most of them have shown specifically to you. Not to say that they wouldn't, but this is kind of next level. But on that second day, going to Jenya's to cast the Hero's Feast, basically giving your all, you see someone there that you had witnessed previously, if not for only briefly. And he's bringing some, what looks to be herb, various, like, bags of you're not really sure what it is. Reagents is probably your guess. Stuff that you haven't encountered in the native in a long time in the wild. But the way that he carries himself, one, like, describe what he looks like. This is Balthar. What does Balthar look like?
For those of you who haven't seen him before, he is a bugbear, the largest of the goblinoid race. His fur starts off black across the chest and the face, that fades into a brown as it goes back, covering the rest of his body. He is a warden of Saren of the Hunt. He has those, like, goldish yellow eyes, very bestial in nature, but very much like an animal, they kind of go from rounded to sharp, depending on his actions.
Okay, and you wish specifically to speak with him, or no? You were at,
Jenya's
at the Wee Apothecary, and you were speaking to her because you want to know if there's anything that she has that could fix the skin. You tell exactly what's happened, or at least as much as you care to offer, and you say like, man, the skin is burnt, and it's hot to the touch. You offer as much detail, and she says that it's beyond her ability. But this man, dropping off the various reagents and solvents, anything that he can offer to the town, because he's part of the wardens. It was what his agreement was with the town, that the wardens would call and herald the aid if needed, and he's here doing just that. He was here, probably arrived 3 or 4 days ago to deliver food stock and grain so that you guys could eat and restart your farms. And in turn, you're guessing that there's probably some sort of agreement that if they ever need help, that the town is supposed to lend aid or support in any fashion. But he overhears you speaking to her, and you can't help to hear him eavesdropping. She says thank you, but he keeps listening, like he's trying to be a fly on the wall. But it's hard to be a fly on the wall when you're the fly that's like 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
As much as he's trying not to be obvious, it's like Lon Chaney, right? He's the wolf man. He's on top, and you can hear him. You can practically hear his breathing.
As that happens, he like turns back over. Hi, you're the warden that I've heard about, the one who brought the grain and the food to the town. Thank you.
Yes. I have heard what it is your friend. He is burned, yes.
That's correct.
Oh, is he important to the town?
He's the guard captain, yes.
God. I have scrolls that I brought from the Citadel, but they can help. But I cannot let them go at free of cost, as it was from our own coffers that we spilled to cause these to plenish.
How much would you sell me one for?
That I do not know. I do not even have them. I can come back tomorrow. I'll have to reach back to the Citadel. I do know that it is not cheap.
Very well. Any help will do. And everything that you've done so far, thank you. You're saving us.
He grants you a nod, and he nods to Jenya as well.
I'll be back, tomorrow eve, before nightfall. You cast Feast again, yes?
I will.
Good. Then I will be back with Kiss. Then I'll bring scrolls. Bring much money. Coin.
Very well. Thank you. And he turns over to Jenya and thank you for everything.
She kind of gives you this look. This look of like knowing what her teacher, what her masters would have charged a regular person, right? Like the cost of this magic is not cheap. It's not. And she kind of gives you like the eyes, like those like those steep eyes of like, whoo, you got deep pockets, right?
Yeah.
She waves the bugbear on, and when he leaves, she says to you, that's going to be so very expensive.
We have to do what we can to get those who can fight back up. If not, then this town's going to be far too susceptible to attack again, and we can't risk that. There's still trouble around here too.
You could seek a loan. You might be able to go to the mayor if he's actually the guard captain. I didn't think he was. But if he is the guard captain, then a loan might suffice, and I'm sure it would be easy for him to relieve some of the gold onto you.
I can check, but I don't know if that'll work. But I'll go check with him. But I'd rather go with my friends to talk that out if any of them are waking up.
She gives you an estimate, a roundabout idea, and she basically tells you that she gives you an idea about how expensive it's going to be, and it comes out to 2 scrolls is about 5,000 gold or 500 platinum. That's just like, that's not even, there's no markup there. That's the cost.
I mean, I would just need the one though. I mean, if he's bringing 2, then.
I mean, if you have no idea how many he's got. You know what? I'll roll for it. I will roll it and determine how many he's got. It's gonna be a low die.
Got 2.
He's gonna bring 2.
Yeah. Then actually, probably would go see. I would probably go see him.
Go see who specifically?
The mayor. If that's the case, because I have an idea. I can fix 2 people.
Well, it's pretty late, and you know that he doesn't particularly take kindly to night visitors. Your last night visit didn't go super well, if you recall. It literally left you leaping out of his window.
Yeah, but I mean, at this
You
point,
still owe the man for those curtains.
You do still owe him for those curtains.
Those were some nice curtains.
They were. Yes, they were. They were in his personal study. You just don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point he'd probably be more thrown by a timed or daytime visit than a nighttime one. So I mean, I would try just on the sense of it should be normal for him by now that this is happening, or he would kind of expect that if I'm going to show up, it would be in the later hours.
True, but you also know that you have to offer round-the-clock care for the others.
Yeah.
You've been like it. That's almost nonstop, right? You have to be there to rotate. Like, by the time you have finished cycling everyone's bedclothes and they're tending to their wounds, you almost have to start over again.
Yeah.
So you being gone and leaving to this place to cast your Hero's Feast, you're providing yourself with your only window to do anything in this time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is quite a bit more difficult for you because you're giving everything you have and you're experiencing exhaustion.
Yeah.
You're not like, you can't just go 28 out of 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You actually have to sleep, and your sleep is intermittent at best.
Go to sleep tired, wake up tired.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's fine then. I mean, knowing that I still have to start getting used to doing that again too. Then I would probably make my way back. Hopefully, trying for anything in the morning to do that, to get a loan out, or at least one scroll from Balthar if I can.
Okay. By the time that you return back to the Temple of Ouija, when you enter into the room, you do notice that one of them has stirred. It could just be the surroundings being so natural and native. But Thelsa has awoken. She was honestly healing the best of everyone.
Yeah.
She took the lowest amount of physical harm, and luckily, most of her robes, while saturated in the draconic bile, most of her wounds were superficial. However, she did suffer from a lot of the inhalation, so that's basically what you're tending to, is the inhalation of smoke and whatnot.
Yeah. He would help her up. Easy. And he kind of rushes over to her and he tries to help her sit up just a bit, but not to like put her feet to the floor, so he doesn't want her to stand up just yet.
Yeah, I'd move my hand to my chest where the N was carved in, because that was a wound that still feels sore to me. How did we get back?
Gilfrey helped get you back.
The puppet man, right?
Correct.
What day is it now? How many days have passed?
So far, 2.
Shit. Do we have any means of acquiring a ruby? My health isn't nearly as important as this convocation is to me. I'd cough a couple times.
Your health is more important than this convocation.
To you?
Yes, to me. And it would probably be important for the rest of the people showing up that you were alive.
Well, I'll live. I always survive.
Thelsa, you're having this conversation. You're immediately discussing acquiring this. Like you want to go right back into action. You have no idea how long you've really been out. 2 days? Has it been 2 full days? Has it been like a day and a half? You've got limited window to make this work. So you go into action, but you immediately notice that while he doesn't look wholly different, he's perspirating. He's breathing very bizarrely, like almost open mouth, like.
Yeah, and I take it to note that he doesn't breathe often. And he doesn't have a heartbeat. I'm just gonna look over him a couple times and are you all right, Ulhime?
I'm alive.
Just gonna stop and look at him for a second. Like alive?
He puts he grabs her hand and puts it to his chest.
Ew. How'd this happen?
To save you guys, I took on the curse that had been plaguing Sasha.
So you've got cancer?
You've
You've got rot?
Rot. That would be much better.
Yeah, I don't think cancer exists yet. Or
he shrugs his shoulders. I don't know, but you're safe, and that's what matters.
I'm gonna start moving. I want to try and get up off the bed, even though I'm not in a great shape. Like everyone who's ever been in a hospital bed does, but it's too early.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna try, knowing that he's gonna try to help her, knowing that this is probably the best idea, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to force her.
Give me a fortitude. Okay,
I'll stick with it.
You manage to stiffen your legs beneath you. The moment that you start to bend your leg, you kind of feel it want to give out, right? Like you feel your thigh muscle immediately just kind of like twitch up and almost want to give out beneath you and let you hit the earth. But you take the aid. And as you start to move around, looking at the others, Daniel looks mostly fine. He's dressed in robes or in bandages. Cort, his upper body has been dressed in bandages. His lower body, it looks like he's wearing pants and he's being tended to the most part, but the leather looks sort of warped. It looks incredibly dry, and you can hear the hiss of something from inside of it. You notice that the lip of the seal is starting to kind of curl back. And it immediately goes to the instructions that Keegan offered before he died. He expressed that if this is not properly taken care of, this could just come off of his person and he'll die. He'll just fucking flat out die. And then you see the mummy on the bed. Like a 6.5 foot tall tiefling wrapped in bandages as if he had been struck by a bus multiple times. What little bit of skin you can see is bright, red, and puckered and warped.
Everyone looks so rough.
It was pretty bad.
Then it dawns on you. Said it's been 2 days. He's perspirating. He said he's alive. And each of you have been laying here for at least 2 days. And when you glance around the room, there is a pile of bloodied and soiled rags. Bed linen that are just stacked up as tall as he is.
Well, I suppose it's time to start helping. And yeah, first things first, I'm gonna head over. I'm gonna try and hobble my way over to Cort, and I want to try and assess his his innards, knowing that there needs to be some lubrication or the seals are gonna blow.
Sure, go for it. Let's see what you got. You gonna give me a heal check, or you gonna give me? What do you have? I'm gonna entertain some ideas. What you got?
It's gonna be a real shitty heal check because I don't have like any engineering or anything. And even when Cort's was punctured, I was just like, yeah, I can't fix this. I'm just gonna run him around town.
You can try to give me knowledge engineering. You've got luck rolls.
Yeah, okay. I'll do an untrained engineering.
You can also find a tanner, right? There are tanners in town, and treating leather, probably not the hardest thing to do. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. And yeah, you know that you lack the talent in order to repair the leather, but look has never been a part of Cort's aesthetic in regards to this. Survival, function over form, I suppose, in this case. He wears a breastplate. He's trying everything that he can to protect this spot, but it's scorched. And what Keegan told you is that you basically have to keep it functionally lubricated so that the machines never grit and grind against each other. You don't know what happened to the apparatus. Give me a wisdom. Let's see if you can remember here. This is a memory test, so clip me that wisdom.
I'm gonna go for a reroll on that one.
Okay.
I'll just stick with that one for
Even
now.
or odd in your favor?
I'll go even. It's always 4.
It's at least 18.
It's not 4.
Not 4, correct. You managed to recall. You were like, where the hell am I going to get exactly what was needed here? And then you play back that scene in your head, trying to remember exactly what he said. He told you that you would have to make more. You'll have to figure it out. You'll have to make more. But he did give you 1 vial with 1 separate attachment.
It was a turkey baster.
More or less. And it was attached to him. There is leather that's basically buttoned down just on the front of it near his waist. And when you lift this up, there is an insert. They basically built a pocket into this to catch specifically the vial, the tube, and the baster bubble.
Yeah. Did any of them get like destroyed or ruined in the recent events?
When you open up that pocket, yes. Yes.
Of course.
The baster bubble is melted. It looks like something had burned it up. You probably guess it's the dragon's fire. The tubing looks fine. It seemed like it didn't take much of the blow, or at least something had prevented it from taking damage. So you need to basically makeshift a new bubble. Additionally, the vial that was containing the fluid, that's what took a lot of the damage. The heat ruptured the glass. And when you begin to kind of like pick this stuff out, there's not a lot of it left, but it's basically what kept the rubber tubing just fine. This makeshift almost cord or cable that transmits the fluid.
So Is there still fluid in there? Like, any at all?
There is some, yes.
Well, it's gonna have to do for now, because I'm gonna put it into the needle essentially.
Okay.
And I was shown where the application needs to go, but not really how to do it, especially without a bubble.
Yeah.
I'll just be pushing.
Just blowing into it.
Pretty much. He's gonna be a bit gassy after this, but he can handle it.
Sure. And you rolled well enough. Like an 18 is pretty solid. Your best guess is the way that this is functionally operating, since the tube is designed, this bubble is designed to only have like a limited pressure of air. You more or less run the length of the tube by like compressing it downward, pinch after pinch, into the spots. You can still see, even in the warped leather, like there are some puncture spots that he had consistently had to manage to do this. But as this is happening, Cort, you feel the pressure on your body. It's not like someone is wrapping your wound. Someone is messing with a primary component of your survivable functionality. And it's been a couple of days, and it's enough to jar you. You are awake.
Trying to think if the first reaction would either be to immediately grab the hand and be like, "What are you doing?" Or if the reaction is, "Yeah, this is Tuesday."
You open your eyes and
like it's somewhere in between.
Thelsa is holding a tube right at about your midsection to lower torso, and she's pinching it down, squeezing something into your body.
Does Thelsa look fucked up?
I mean, she looks a little worse for wear, but she's surviving.
When I look to my right and I look to my left, is there anyone near me who is also fucked up?
You do see a mummy in the bed next to you. It's making that noise, actually.
Dude, cat, what? Can I help you? No.
Pay attention, Dad!
Yeah, that's all he wants. Right? Okay. I'm gonna kind of look at Thelsa. Did we lose again?
You hear the voice.
Winning and losing isn't important. We're all alive.
Are we?
Jacob still breathing in the opposite bed.
For now.
Frank, I can't eat you because of terms of service, so I'm going to gently guide you away from my chair.
For now, everyone's alive.
Fucking God. Oh. He's gonna kind of look down. How long is this gonna take?
Recovery or this?
Both.
Recovery's gonna take a little while, but this shouldn't take me much longer.
Daniel, you're no longer hearing the occasional shifting of sounds from your bed being moved or your body being rewrapped, or like a fluid being applied to the body or the wound that you might have. Now you're hearing multiple voices talk around you. It takes you a moment. One eye kind of flutters open before the next, and you don't feel so bad. You do feel fairly horribly exhausted, more than anything else. Your last memories were of you completely taken by fire. But now you're here in a bed.
Kind of sit up. A little, well, not a little. I'm going to try to unnerve myself, considering that my fear of dragons is a little bit heightened after the second encounter that I've had with one. Just kind of...
You don't say.
I don't know. I think it went well.
Just kind of like recollecting, like, you're not... Damn it, Daniel, you're not a kid anymore. Just... I'm going to kind of hit myself. Not, super hard. Just...
Sure.
And And looking around, is there anything that would seem out of place?
Thelsa filling me up with lube.
Yep. You can see that the dwarf is there. He seems to be not necessarily as worse for wear as any of you. He does seem to be a bit inundated. His eyes seem to be quite a bit heavier. The sweat is noticeable on his brow. The pile of soiled bandages and clothing and bed linen are as tall as he is. And then you see the tiefling mummy.
Oh. Well. Looks like Scissor's a little overdone over there.
You can tell it's him because like the arms are sort of laid out, but then his smaller anterior arms are just like up like a cat's as it's trying to rest.
Curled in.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the room that's like lingering? Like, is there anyone that's just kind of like on looking for?
Nobody's watching. No, just your core group.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I'm gonna walk over to the group and kind of take a gander at what's happening with Cort, because it seems like everyone's focused on him currently, right?
Sure, you can. I mean,
Well,
I don't really think as much as Ulhime is paying as much attention. He's it's nice to have
and out of consciousness.
It's nice to have someone else here doing something, so he has an opportunity to take a load off for a moment.
Yeah. Actually, I'll walk over to Ulhime. Can I try to wiggle my way up or walk on my own?
Sure. You know, you stand and you slide your body weight down the length of the bed, grabbing the bedpost, and then you kind of take 2 long strides over, holding onto the other bedpost on the bed that he's sitting on, and you're just kind of standing there.
Can't say I've seen you often, but good to see you're okay, I guess. I think.
Likewise, lad. Likewise. You're, it's good to see that you're up and running again.
Look a little worse for wear. You the one that I need to thank for helping me out?
There's no need for thanks. Just get your rest, lad. Get your rest.
Kind of just pats him on the arm.
How long have I been out exactly?
2 days.
Yeah, he kind of like he nods matter of factly.
A female voice breaks over your conversation as she's tending to Cort. 2 days.
Was everyone out for 2 days?
Seems like we're all getting up around the same time, except for the bandage roll.
Might be able to help him, as well as Cort. Tomorrow.
How much longer would you say there was on the lube application?
We'll just say that you managed to do it, but you know that at this point you will need to have more made. You managed
to have some made.
It's like just trying to get like the rest of the peanut butter in the bottom of the jar. You're filtering out what you can and kind of moistening the seals all the way around so that it adheses closely to the stomach and the chest, and you kind of got that feeling like, hope I did good.
That's as good as I'm gonna be able to do today, so don't die.
Gives you the finger guns and walks away.
Yeah, and as I finger gun, I walk over to see Jakob. I just want to like lift a bandage slightly to see what the condition is of his skin underneath of the roll.
You can see it. It's like acid washed leather. It's red, and even like not even touching it, right? Like even just hovering, you can feel the heat rising off of his skin.
He's very warm. Do you think he might be infected?
Possibly.
Okay. I'm gonna rest a hand on the back of his neck and one on his chest, trying to avoid his little hands because they still creep me out a little bit. And I'm gonna cast Remove Disease on him.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What's the save?
It says, I
Interaction.
roll a caster level against each disease affecting the target.
Okay. All right. I mean, he's not gonna. I don't think he's really gonna be able to make much of a save. There's a check though. So go ahead and give me a check.
Caster level check. Okay.
You've got another luck reroll. I imagine you're not a big fan of a 3 out
Yeah,
of
no,
20.
I'm gonna re-roll that one too.
He does have some creepy hands. That's infinitely better. Infinitely
I'm more
better.
happy with that one.
You're confident in whatever it is that you've managed to remove from his body. If there was a disease, it is gone. But it takes time for the body to start kind of tempering back down. He also ran hot as is. Could just be his blood.
Yeah.
But for now, your best guess is it's gone. Whatever is there is gone.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's gonna help at least a little.
Sure.
The warden Balthar, he said he would bring 2 scrolls by tomorrow. We can fix Jakob by then, and possibly any kind of motions over to Cort, possibly even the boy.
Scrolls of what?
He said something to regenerate them.
That'd be good. I think they can both use a little bit of additional help at this point.
We're just gonna kind of tap at the mechanism. Last time we tried fixing this, didn't it hurt more?
We didn't have that magic then. It's gonna be pricey though.
Is the Decker that Thelsa had, like, is that present inside of the room we're currently in, or is this just like a infirmary that's very plain?
This is it's not even an infirmary. This is not a triage. This is quite literally a sleeping quarter for acolytes.
I'm gonna kind of take a look around, like, while they're talking amongst themselves. Just gonna kind of wave my hand. Hey, I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna go see what there is to eat somewhere. I'm gonna make my way towards the door.
You probably, honestly, like, I think Ulhime probably would have brought some food back. The Hero's Feast has to stay, but he can't really go far. You notice, like, there are multiple cots, and at least 5 of them are messed. So Ulhime's had to stay here. He's also got multiple, like, pails of water for exchanging chamber pots, bed pans, stuff like that. So your food is a little limited, but it's enough to get you through. On top of that, like, even though you've just woke up and you've been out for 2 days, you're still exhausted.
Yeah. As I say that, and kind of get a little woozy, maybe like second thought, probably just sit down or lean myself against the wall, like,
Sure.
listen to the.
Do you still
listen to
grab,
the conversation.
like, do you grab any of the food at all?
If there's like an apple,
Yeah.
or something, I'll take an apple and I'll just kind of like bite into it.
Sure. You grab a couple of things. You grab an apple, and you probably grab some like a shank of bread, and sit down and eat as much as you can. But just the act of chewing just takes it out of you, and by the end of it, you feel like you fucking ran a mile. Like, it's one of those days, right, where you're just like, ugh, why was something like this, a trivial, mundane action, so taxing? But it doesn't matter, because there is no answer. You know the answer, and there's not one that's going to make you happy. Everybody can grab food, with an exception to Jakob. Everybody can eat. And there'll be another quiet night The morning you're met with whimpers. Jakob is beginning to come to.
Knowing that he's starting to come to, I would see if I can try and meet Balthar at Jenya's, so I can get those scrolls. Because I'm not sure if he knows where the Temple of Ouija is at.
Said it would be in the aft, though.
He told you he would meet you just before nightfall at Jenya's.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Unless you wanted to go seek him out, but you have no idea where he's going to be camping.
As he starts to wake, Ulhime's demeanor almost changes. Even through the exhaustion, it's more affixed to like being stern and, I guess, analyzing rather than trying to nurture. But he's still helping him, but it's more, there's less empathy behind it.
Would you care to elaborate? Or is this the kind of like...
It would be similar to like kind of it's like he forgot everything, and then he's suddenly remembering everything that kind of led up to now.
Okay. So it's not like you're like walking up and smacking him on the chest and be like, you'll get over it.
No. This is
Jacob wipes up
this is
like
like
Judy chop him in the face.
Like he's like, oh man, like he's in pain, and like before he can even say friend, he's like he kind of switches it to like Dawnbringer is awake. So it's more stern in the care, but I mean he's still caring for him to make sure that he's not dying.
Okay. All right, I got you. I
Start to stir. I wanna go to Ulhime and say, can you hold down the fort for just a little longer? I need to finish a few errands and get some things done before I'm met unprepared for upcoming events.
Go ahead. I'll be here when you get back.
Should try and rest a little more. I'll relieve you when I return.
No need. I'll take care of him.
Where are you going? I'm curious.
I want to go to Mavu's and see if I can get another ruby. Even though I know people are dying around me, I'm dead set on this. It's all that's important to me right now.
I got you.
Ulhime nursed us for 2 days. He can nurse them for another 2 hours.
Sure, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, and Daniel, how about you? Daniel and Cort, what are your plans?
I'm probably gonna try to get new clothing at this point. Maybe something more red, since that's what I'm guessing that's what the acolytes are wearing. Something similar to them.
And Cort, about yourself.
Cort's just probably going to be cleaning off his armor, trying to repair it, trying to make sure his machine doesn't buckle and explode.
Sure.
So general maintenance / physical health care.
Got it. So if you're going to don robes, for anybody here, it's going to be like, I'm not sure if you've ever been burned before. I'm not talking like a sunburn, but just the raw and general agitation of a burn, like actually being, singed by fire. It's painful to say the least. It's not a mild agitation. So you can just fine. I think most of your wounds, Daniel, were not relating to this. It was like first or second, and it sucks, but you can get by. For particularly for Jakob, this is incredible pain. Even in his unconscious state, you hear the whimpers. Now, a lot of the heat that's emanating from his person, not there anymore. Not there. Your best guess is that whatever Thelsa did, it did in fact remove some sort of infection or disease. Cort, you managed to try to stay on top of things as best you possibly can, but your limited knowledge in limited equipment at this place and point in time makes it a very difficult situation for you. You have a few hours to kill. I need to know specifically what Ulhime, Cort, and Daniel will be doing for a few hours.
Changing out the bandages for Jakob. So, I mean, if the infection's gone, then to prevent reinfection, that would probably be a little more frequented on the changing of the bandages.
Okay.
So reduce that chance, and probably talking with them if they want to talk at all.
Is there any conversation that the three of you wish to have? With Jakob out and with Thelsa gone, is there anything that you wanted to share or say?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As he's changing out the bandages, he looks over to both of them as they're sitting on their beds. I found all of you hanging by post. Each of you should have a marking still. And he kind of points to their chest.
It's gonna
Nabbed it.
look, and I'm assuming we still have it, right? Hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah. He kind of nods, and before we passed out, Nabdatorin had showed up and pulled the vertebrae of Sasha from her back. That's the last I saw. When I woke, I found all of you outside of the mayor's estate, hanging by post, with the letter N carved into your bodies.
You also, Cort's gonna kind of look over him. You look kind of alive, and usually that's not a good thing for you.
Was able to help Sasha. I took possibly whatever ailed her and took it into myself. I gave up my immortality to ensure that she would survive, but I believe Nabdatorin has ended her anyway.
Does anyone? You go.
Sorry.
You go.
As he's mentioning the markings on her chest, I'm gonna like put my hand in my chest. I'm gonna need to repay whoever put this damn thing on me. And then I'm gonna kind of pull out my dagger and start. I'm gonna cast dancing lights on the tip of the dagger.
Okay.
If there's one thing that I really, really dislike, or
Moment first. I need you to give me a D1000.
me?
Yes.
Oh God.
It's not me for once. All right, your dagger is now the enemy of a troll army.
Oh God.
Your dagger is now alive, and it thirsts for blood.
Hey, just like mine.
492.
It's a good, right? Split down the middle roll.
Yeah, that can only lead to bad things.
Yeah. You want 1,000 or one? Nothing in
Ooh.
between.
There's 1,000 bad
Has
things
done
on
this.
list for us.
Who bullied me?
Oh, interesting. Wait a minute. I don't think that one's gonna work. Give me another one. That one's not gonna work.
Oh, okay.
Again, I love repetition.
Yeah, I just like seeing big numbers. He's gonna roll like
Yeah,
an 11.
I want you to roll a D1000. I want you to roll a 1,000 for the third time in this campaign.
I
Oh,
pray it's a wish spell.
wow, that's simple enough. Kind of what you wanted, but also not. Just glow. All weapons within 60 feet of you begin glowing.
Once that happens, when my mother trained me in magic, I wasn't exactly the greatest at casting this spell, so have fun, everyone. It's a bit of a funny story.
Mom didn't teach me good. Surprise, your weapons glow now.
Just so you know, the guy who you're gonna have to repay is about this tall and demon crab-like looking guy. And he's gonna kind of look over towards Jacob.
I'm gonna.
Also his father.
As I'm flipping the dagger around, as Cort says that, you've never really hurt a person by killing them, much like a parent. Let's use that as an example. You would never hurt a parent by ending their life. It'd be too easy.
I don't
And then
think
I'm just
hurting
gonna-
Jacob would hurt him.
No, I'm not talking about Jacob. It's you hurt the people that are around the one that you want to go after.
Cort's gonna look at Ronald, or it's gonna look at at Ulhime.
Ronheim.
Ronheim, tell me your secrets.
Does
Naphtatorin have any loved ones?
It's not about what someone loves. It's protecting what they need or want. So think about it this way. Cort, protecting yourself is a very easy thing to do. You could run, hide, have someone else protect you. But what happens when your friends are left alone? Or the thing that you wanted to protect the most is suddenly missing or given to someone else that is less than charitable than to your well-being. And I'm going to start like rolling the dagger kind of like as the glow is happening. It's all about a trail of connecting the dots. And then I'm going to kind of like make a little star with the glowing dagger. Once you have these dots connected, Cort, that's how you pay someone back. You connect every single dot to them, and once you find the person you're looking for, they have nothing to protect. They have absolutely nothing to stop you. It's just you and them.
Cort's gonna scratch his head. I punched him in the face one time. That kind of hurt him.
I'm gonna repay him back for the carving that he put on me. Except mine is gonna be a little bit more permanent. Don't know I don't know when. I'm not sure how, but scars come in many shapes and forms, and this is probably not the brightest side of me that you've seen, but I am very much pissed off right now.
Jacob's like, get in line, nerd.
The
Now
only
I'm gonna
words he
kick
said
my
in the
dad's
past
ass
3 days.
first.
But I'll kind of just clear my throat. But trying to take a deep breath again. It's all in due time. It's about who you could help, It's about who can help you get along, get to where you're trying to go. So
After you get him all defenseless and take everything he's down, let me know and I'll punch him in the face again.
God damn it.
you'll be the first one to tell.
And Cort will laugh a bit and then kind of hunch over.
Vengeance the dish best served cold. Yeah, but with like pee on it and
Punch.
stuff.
Yeah.
So following that conversation, will things be fairly mundane, going about the very slow healing process that comes with it?
I actually want to get up and can I scout the area that we're at? It's just a habit. I like being secure. I want to kind of like walk the grounds and kind of get a feel of where I'm at.
Of course. Yeah, you can kind of walk around and sort of figure out a bit more about the premise if you want to. This is the Church of Ouija. And it is it's a pretty particular location. It's not one that I would say is going to be easy for anyone to immediately navigate unless you have a lot of experience with the area. I mean, there's a lot of up and downs to it, but pretty much everything that was paid for the Masons to work on was for the public venue. The upper damage was left alone, largely because there was something up there that you guys weren't supposed to have access to. And it is, or was, a cage.
Yeah, spirit cage.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Wasn't it removed,
Soul
though?
cage.
It was removed, yes. It was an enormous cage. Hey, take it easy, Medlow. Have a good one, man. Thanks so much for the bits earlier. I appreciate that.
I'm going to put a
Severn has
bell up
information
there.
On that.
A bell would be good. A bell would be good. But, I mean, there is technically a bell in town, but it's not been utilized in quite some time. So, what do we have here?
If I can I see any vantage points? Like, can I see the bathhouse from where we are?
No. This, like, wherever there are stairs, there are not windows. The only advantageous point for you to peer over the town is inside of private quarters.
Which is something I probably don't have access to.
Well, I mean, not without having keys or the ability to pick locks. Do you? I'm not sure if you do or not.
No, not right now. It's not exactly the kindest thing to do after Ulhime helped me, so I will
What do you
respect
mean?
the atmosphere, so to speak.
You totally could. You could just break right in there. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst that could happen? That's weird. Not supposed to be muted.
I didn't hear anything said.
Gotcha. What I was gonna say was that you could technically break in there, but if you don't have any of the tools.
No. It's not even about having the tools. It's just knowing that Ulhime helped me out, and I guess it's kind of like surveying the area, noticing that they're the ones that are working with everything. I don't want to dirty my hands that way.
Sure, I got you. Not a problem. Oh boy. So then you'll basically give me a perception check. I want 2 from you. I want to see if there's anything you might be able to garner or gather from this.
Okay.
Okay. No, not really. Like, nothing that they wouldn't have already uncovered. It's a very large, beautiful, very lavish establishment. There are alabaster pillars. The floor is completely done in marble. The steps are uniquely and beautifully carved stone that lead upward. They do not fit the rest of the overall decor, but it looks like it was an after install sort of thing. Plus, having marble steps would be incredibly expensive, and while Ouija and technically Thelsa has not spared any expenses, at this point it would be sort of moot for the preparation phase. She's going for a lot of like aesthetic decor that can be disposed of quickly or hidden. So for the time being, no, you're not going to really find anything. You don't see anything of note, nobody of note at this point. But for all intents and purposes, it feels pretty safe. This place doesn't look like it's been used much in recent past, as far as you can tell.
Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna make my way back up to the room where everyone's at.
Sure. It's probably gonna take you some time to really kind of like prowl the premises to get a feel of it. Safe prowl anyway. So we're going to flip the script, move camera over particularly to Thelsa. We're not gonna go on a whole lot longer. I would at least like to finish this scene and then give the scene over to Ronald so we can gather the scrolls and have you guys use them. So we're going to change this. Going to move on over.
Where I was having my dress fashioned, is that in between here and Mavu's?
Yes it is. You were actually just going to see a admittedly a tailor that happens to know a fair amount about things. She was actually, I think she was told to you by Mavu's wife.
She was, yeah.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be a problem.
And I'd likely pick that up on the way back, not on the way there.
Okay.
But so those are the 2 stops I want to make, and that's about it.
Okay, no problem. The more difficult of the 2 for you to acquire would be the ruby. Specifically, you wanted to see to Mavu's wife.
Yes, since that's where we got the previous one, and they have small rubies at the bank, but I'm still looking for something probably smaller than that one, since the entire idea is that it goes into the base of the goblet, and then the patrons drink from it, and that's the ceremonial activity. And with a grapefruit inside of a goblet, you wouldn't be able to get much fluid in there. That was smaller than the grapefruit, but still enough that it was a valiant offering to Ouijas, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I got really high standards, like very specific, but not specific enough.
Sure. Let's have this conversation then. You see to Mavu's trade. It is a dealer in finer and rare antiquities. And she's learned quite a bit from her husband, or vice versa, he learned quite a bit from her. Either or, you've dealt with her many times in the past. She's used to seeing you at this point. That and your allies. She's surprised to see you, admittedly, but she sees you no less. She invites you into the rear side room, asking you to take a seat.
What brings you here today?
So, funny story. I'm looking for another ruby, preferably smaller than the previous one.
I'm sorry, I wish I could give you more to work with, but given the circumstances, I suppose you may have exhausted your immediate search for rubies. Small, you could seek to any bank, any supplier, a gem crafter.
I'm looking for something sizable, but not as large as the previous one I had purchased. It's intended to be an offering to Ouijas, and I want to show that it's worth it, not that it's just some small piece.
I understand that you wish to make it as an offering to Ouijas, but to what end? Will she find this such an obscenely beautiful piece that she'll grant you more power? Is this for Ouijas, or is this for popular vote? Is this to seek a reputation with your peers?
Honestly, I still believe it's thanks for saving my life, actually. I was felled inside of Ouijas' temple, and it was her that brought me back and offered a means of being in her service. But I've owed her ever since, and I feel like enacting this ceremony is just a small way of me paying her back for all she's done for me.
Forgive me for not being a God-fearing woman. I do not delve into religion, so to speak, at least organized religion. We all practice faith in different ways, I'm sure you understand. I think you should concern yourself less with what your God thinks of you. Because if she is what you say that she is, then she has seen you for all that you are. And she recognizes your dedication, your willingness to persevere in the challenge. Why not be creative? Why a ruby? Why not so much more? Or something less? You cannot sleep upon a ruby. You cannot eat or drink from a ruby. It offers nothing. A visual aid, a bauble for you to touch, for to cling upon, to make those around you jealous. Seems paltry by design.
You seem to have some idea in mind. Is that the case?
The heart of Osiria, the Osirian desert. We had our own rubies. They kept us alive. They were the lifeblood of our people. They're not nearly as beautiful. Their edges not nearly sharpened. Though you could kill a man with one.
Well, you could kill a man with most things, but that is not the intent here.
What if I made a suggestion of a different rupee? Something that would absolve your needs, yet provide you with something more, something adequate. Give me a moment. I'll bring you back the Ruby of Sands. It's not as native to this land. I have to have it imported.
She steps away for a moment, leaving you with this, while she keeps this very like upwardly and forward going appearance, meeting that appearance. This room is utter chaos. There are papers everywhere. There is
always has been
no way that this is something of her own design. It's clearly by her husband's total control.
Yeah, that's the relationship as far as I know it. He comes back, creates a chaos, and then leaves again, and then he's gone for eons at a time, and she takes over.
She returns, and she has with her a small leather-bound bag, probably enough that you could carry, like it. For better description here, you could probably put 2 or 3 human heads in this bag. But when she begins to unfurl this leather-bound bag, it's a fruit. A fruit that you haven't seen before, at least not in game. Out of game, you have. At least I hope that you have.
As long as it's not a durian.
It's a pomegranate.
Okay.
Forgive me for it not being so beautiful. One moment.
She draws what looks to be a very like small blade, something no larger than her thumb, and she draws it down the side. And when she cracks open this fruit, there's a myriad, hundreds of tiny rubies.
These kept my people alive for generations. Slave and women were only given this to feast upon, and it is from us that we gave it its name, the Ruby of the Sands. When its skin is licked in fire, it obtains this beautiful red hue, and nothing can enhance a drink quite like the Ruby of the Sands.
I love the idea. Now, I hope I won't have to put the lease to the church to purchase one of these.
She chuckles. There's like a bit of a chuff in her voice before she pushes the other 2 to you. She said to give her a day or 2. She's having a very large shipment of them brought in. She prefers them, and you probably wouldn't have guessed it, but she definitely consumes a few of these at a day.
It's a bit of a habit I've formed. Something that I must say I quite enjoy. And maybe you and yours can appreciate it as such.
I hope so. And what would the price for these 2 be?
You've already paid its cost, listening to my history. And now, maybe it is something of a friend to you, and hopefully it can save your charade.
I hope so. The act of calling it a charade would give me a chuckle.
She will probably see you muster that smile, even if you're trying to hide it. But she is not wrong. She tells you that she'll provide enough. You just give her the amount that you're going to need, and it's going to take some time. You might want to give some kids some coppers to peel these pomegranate, but you'll have mountains of pomegranate.
Yeah, I don't need mountains, but I'll take a good few.
Okay. Well, if people are going to be drinking from it, then
yeah.
It's likely that they're gonna get a couple of pomegranate seeds to just tip back and like, well, I'm not gonna tell anyone about this.
That's okay.
But you got it. You got your rupee. It's not as beautiful as a flaming dragon scale, and it's not a volleyball-sized ruby,
Yeah, well, the volleyball-sized ruby nearly killed half of the population, including all of the halflings. So, I'm significantly happier with, hopefully, how this is turning out.
Yeah. You'll I think this will be a bit better. It's a little less hoity. You're not having to worry about spending hundreds, if not thousands of gold trying to buy an enormous ruby to impress people. This came at no cost. So,
yeah. And especially in a town that's in need right now, I think it's more thoughtful.
Mavu and Mavu's wife, particularly Mavu's wife, if you guys can ever remember to write down her name, is a completely useful human tool. She is someone that is incredibly beneficial to actually get to know, to utilize. She has friends in every district, in every back pocket. Somebody owes her a favor. And vice versa, you just joined her ledger of people that she might call into.
Well, I'll happily
I have
respond.
her notes. I don't think we ever got her name. Or at least I never got her name.
I can never, when I went in there, I was like, man, I really hope I don't.
I know for certain I gave you guys her name one time.
Because I still just have it under Miss Arlental.
Yes, because Mavu's last name is Arlental.
Is her first name Miss by chance?
No, it's not.
Shit.
Oh, but
Okay,
I'm just saying I would have been pretty sure I would have wrote it down if I had heard it.
Miss is short for Misty, so
A lot of resources that just seem to be available sus. Fruit is a lot less suspect than scrolls.
Yeah.
But
also,
not
runs
wrong.
Like a trade house.
Yeah, she runs a trade house where they move thousands of gold worth of things at a time. So,
including her giant statue of a demon god,
a couple dozen
within a week.
A couple of dozen silver worth of fruit from the Osirian desert's probably not gonna cut her back. She's probably gonna garner more out of that one for sure. So we're going to vest forward and take on our last two scenes particularly, and see to your collection. Who's paying for these scrolls?
Well, I would put 2,000 forward for the first one.
Okay. Are you getting the gold from Jacob's collection?
No, the 2,500 is from me personally. That would be the. Yeah, so I would be left with 237.
Okay. Are you going to get any of the rest of it from Jacob's collection? Because remember, Jacob had a bunch of money. He never had an opportunity to spend it. He was constantly at the beck and whim of the guard captain, and could not have an opportunity to spend it, pretty much.
I mean, seeing as it's a life and death situation, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I would assume he would want his funds to be, used for his benefit.
Sure. Then subtract the necessary gold, and that's going to be 2,500.
Yeah. So we would have both scrolls.
Okay. So your conversation is relatively simple. He'll meet you just before nightfall. He'll produce the scrolls, easy enough. You know him as an aide to the town. He expresses to you simply that they are... Well, I think it's that one. There we go.
These are scrolls of regeneration. We buy them from Red Gorge. We have good trade with Red Gorge.
Just to be sure, how do I activate these scrolls? How do I know when they're gonna work?
His eyes kind of like squint a little, and like he kind of gives you a bit of a confused look, and he's holding them and he's...
What do you mean? You read the scroll, activate the magic. You not have the magic in you?
With a bit of a confused cursory glance.
I don't want something to go wrong with these. That's it.
Does this town no longer have those keen on casting
We do. I just want to make sure that they work. That's it.
This will work. I stake my reputation of warden. Red Gorge would not suffer that loss.
Very well.
And he gives him a polite bow, and he tries to make his way as quickly as he can back to the temple.
He collects the gold. He trusts you. He's not going to count it out here, especially like in public.
Yeah.
And not that anybody's going to stop him. Like when you met him, he was sitting down on nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was literally sitting down on nothing. Like he's doing a wall sit on nothing that's there.
Just a leg exercise from our view.
Yeah, and when he leaves, he walks, but occasionally he steps over something, and you can see the ground sort of indent as this almost like 5 foot wide across indentation just sort of leaves a ridge in the road. Makes his way out of town.
I just remembered why that was.
Yeah.
Yes, like a gargantuan steel invisible anaconda. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a python actually, because it was a constrictor.
Yeah.
I would give these scrolls to Thelsa. And as I got there, I would let her know.
We can use one on Jakob. The other we can use for Cort. So that way he won't be bound to that machine anymore.
You're gonna need Cort's permission on that. This might be life and death for Jakob, and I'll operate under that circumstance, but it's ultimately up to Cort if he wants to go through with this or not.
Very well, but let's get this over without delay.
And he'll walk over to Jakob and hand the first scroll off to Thelsa.
Yep, I'm gonna see what I can do to cast this spell on him. I'm gonna unfurl it and read its magics.
Do you want to identify it first at all, just to see what it is?
Actually, yeah, I might.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a knowledge arcana. Good, that's great. You know that this is a regenerate scroll. This is very expensive. Likely whatever they paid for this was more than what they charged you for this. But it was just enough to go back and probably negotiate a deal back again. And when you glance over the other, it's got matching symbology. Everything looks the same. It follows the same sort of divine knotwork, and it's a mirror. Basically, it's a mirror image, right? So you can see that it's exactly the same.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to read the words, and I'd probably hold my hand on Jacob's chest as I do it.
Sure. Give me a. Let's see here. Let's see. I want to take a look to see what's going to best fit you in this situation. Give me a use magic device. You are hella capable. Even rolling a 4. You get a 29. Perfect. And you do just that. You manage to succeed in your use magic device. And the way that this magic sort of washes over him, it sort of like undulates over the scroll a few times, sort of like water starting to come up. And then it pours out in this white wave over the top of your hand and just seeps over like a fountain over his body. And the way that it washes, it almost causes the bandages that are bound around him to sort of like tighten. They tighten up on in, almost like they're being wound. But the skin itself seems to begin to relieve itself of the heat, of the pressure, of the redness. And as it begins to cool, you can see that this almost bound, wrinkle, like acid rot skin releases. And it starts to roll back over, and some of the skin actually begins to roll up and peel away some of the earliest and highest levels of the epidermis, revealing that natural hue, like that brownish red hue of his skin before the burning. His skin begins to sort of peel away, relieving the after effects of that intense draconic burn. Jakob, you awaken. A menthol-like sensation whips coldly over your entire body At first it burns again like fire, but then the after effect is this almost light orgasmic-like state. Cold hands seem to grasp every part of you to pull away at this horrific burn that lays claim over your entire person.
All right, and this is all happening at once. It's instantaneous. It's not a overtime deal, right?
It starts wherever her hand is. So if it's like hovering over your face, it'll start at your face. If it's over your chest, it'll start at your chest. But it immediately starts like, imagine like the rippling of dropping like water into a tub, right? So you'd see it, or like throwing a stone into a pool where it plinks down and then it just kind of ripples out over your body. That's basically what happens here.
It was pretty much right on the chest, center of mass.
So the best that I could think of what would happen, especially since for the last 24 hours or so, he's been semi-cognizant of what's been going on, or at least semi-awake and around and in severe pain. I think he would take a few more deep heaving breaths before finally letting out a sigh as relief starts flooding over him. This cool sensation of relief spreading from his chest and over his shoulders, down his limbs, before finally just passing out just from the cessation of pain and delirium that he's been suffering through. So yeah, beneath all the bandages and all, he would just let off a long sigh of relief and pass right out.
Okay. There is that exhaustive state of relief, this sigh, a pang of finally getting a break. Before his body lays limply, you can see the chest move upward and then back down again as he's breathing. Seems to be as fine as it possibly can be. And you know that it's functioned. He's a mess right now. He's still wrapped, still bound up. His skin is still kind of flaking and peeling away, but a good bath and he should be just fine. Cort remains.
Any chance that he's just a normal tiefling anymore? Did it reverse all that?
You actually grow 6 more pairs of arms, and you get another set of jagged knees. So they look like.
I turned into a drider.
Congratulations, you're now a centipede.
Zigzags now.
You actually move faster. You're now a centipede.
You actually move faster horizontally now than vertically.
Truth. The ability to trip you has completely been removed.
Also, they all reverse backwards. You got knees on all your elbows now. If that go backwards,
you get plus
so
40
if they flip you over, you just keep going.
You have a vertical jump right now that blows Kobe out of the water.
22 feet when you're not trying.
A guy can hope. A guy can dream.
I would approach Cort with the next scroll.
Okay.
And then as we get to his table.
Look, lad, I don't know exactly what's going to happen if you decide to go through this, but we would have to remove the apparatus from you to get you back to the way you were, if you want to go back to the way you were.
I mean, it's really hard to fight with this thing, but when you take it out, will I die before I'm fixed? And what if it doesn't fix anything?
Don't know. That's why we're leaving it up to you.
We can hold on to the scroll and decide at a later date if that is preferable to you.
Maybe we should do that if we find someone who can replace it if we take it out. He's gonna kind of just like look down at it.
I don't know that this will fix you. I don't know that it's gonna make you whole again, and that's why I don't trust it. I worry too much that it won't completely redo what you've lost, and then you are missing half of your organs.
If only Keegan was here, he'd be able to make it into half of what it is, at least.
If only.
Let's try and find a better alternative to that. I don't think necromancy is our option here. And I'm going to nudge Cort as I say that.
Let's try.
God, I'm having thoughts.
No, not about necromancy.
What,
That's
seriously?
scary.
I can stop that if you'd like.
Oh, no!
I can stop that if you like.
Yeah, I got enervation. I can do that for you.
We can do this again.
Got a really long railroad spike. We can see how far it goes.
I mean, if Cort's gonna pass on that, then I guess we would be going on to the next,
Yeah, it'd be next day.
either next day or
Okay.
whatever would be next.
This is actually where we're going to call tonight's session. I wasn't sure where you were going to take this, if you were going to use this on him tonight, or if you were going to wait until a very intense moment.
Yeah.
Either way, this is likely where it's going to come to a close this evening. And I'm happy with that because I wasn't entirely sure where I was going to take that scroll, how it was going to function with your body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do they make,
I'm okay with that.
Do they make like fireproof scroll holders?
Yes, they do.
I'm gonna look into trying to get one of those because I assume Cort and I will be traveling together, and if it does happen to get ripped out, I would like to use it in the midst of combat, kind of thing.
On the hope that it might work.
Yeah, that and also fire sucks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fire sucks indeed. That's right. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. This was our first night back, episode 193. We have 7 sessions left before we hit episode 200. And man, some things are coming back. Today's session resulted in us seeing the return of Gilfrey Silverlight. Additionally, you guys still haven't figured out what's happened with Sasha, and that's one that I think I'm most surprised about.
Oh, we don't know what she was in her realm, and now we're not. So, like, my mind has instantly gone to now she's without one vertebrae in a ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she can't get out because she can't do anything right now.
Weird one. But you know what? That's okay. I'm digging it.
Oh, the monster beneath the city, by the way.
There's no monster. There's no monster. It's a myth.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much again for everything. I love your faces. I'm happy that everybody stuck around this evening. I'm grateful that you guys continue to give us a shot here to tell stories. Next week, we will be back with, the whole group, the whole squad. At least I hope we're all back, right? Everybody's back for next week?
I'll have to double check.
Next week?
Next week is the
no game next
final Wednesday.
No, we've missed plenty. It's okay if we make this one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Cool.
Sure.
Cool. We'll be playing next week, and I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit us with a bit of a raid. There's a cool ass guy over here on Twitch by the name of High Jump. High Jump's a dope dude. He's playing Batman Arkham Knight. And as always, before we do this, make sure you guys check out all the social stuff. There's Instagram, Twitter, Discord. I'm going to go hang out on the Discord just after this. Similarly, if you guys are digging this tabletop stuff, next Tuesday will be episode 3 of Haunting Fairstone, which has been very, very successful here. I'm very, very excited about it. So let's go ahead and copy up this raid command if you guys could. If you want to do me a solid, copy the raid command. It's true. I do have a giveaway that's going on. Why can't I copy this fucking command?
Because you're an original, you don't copy anything.
Yeah, well, I want to copy the command. It's not letting me though. It's pissing me off. There we go. I'm copying the command. Yes, there is a giveaway going on right now, guys, on Twitter. Christy, if you want to do us a solid and drop that in here, we can go ahead and share that. It's a giveaway, guys. I'm going to be giving away a brand new headset and the ST100 from Corsair, which is a headset dock that connects to a USB port It gives you 2 USB 3.0s, and it will convert your audio into 7.1 surround sound. All you got to do is follow me. Follow Corsair. Retweet and like it. And tag your friend. Tag your duo, because it's not just one set. I'm giving away one to you and one to your duo. So tag a friend, tag your partner, tag your dog. I don't care. As long as they have the Twitter, it doesn't even matter. Just go tag them and let everybody know. So let's go ahead and share this love over to the man, High Jump. Yeah, raid. High Jump.
Shadow Legends.
Shadow Legends.
We were all thinking.
You stupid.
Raid to Shadow Legends.
I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing, I think we're probably going to do some more No Man's Sky or Valheim. And then Friday is a 12-hour stream where we'll be doing, just about anything and everything that is happening right now. So Green Hell, The Forest, No Man's Sky, and everything in between. So we're going over there now. Take it easy, folks. Love you. Do what you do. Stay safe. Stay nerdy. We'll catch you later. Peace. I'm out.